Welcome to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee, an intimacy guide, surrogate partner, and professional cuddler. We're here to talk about intimacy in a much broader view than what you probably think. Most people think about intimacy as sex. We're going to break that apart here. Welcome to the lab. Hello there. Welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee. I get a chance to talk to people sometimes, and even though I've got a couple of episodes in the hopper that I still haven't put out, I couldn't not say yes to Jake when he said yes and showed up on my calendar. So I'm going to welcome Jake Apton here. I met Jake at the AVN Awards back, or what do they call it, the Adult Expo or whatever it's called, back in January when I was there with my dear, wonderful, I don't even know what to call him anymore, Alex. I'm almost ready to call him my partner. I think that would really fuck people's head up because they're like, but he's a gay man. And I'm like, I don't care. He's in that close range for me as far as like the inner rings of the tree. Like he's in that inner spot next to like my husband and stuff. But I met Jake. Jake is a very, I don't know, it's such a, it feels like a dated term to say. Jake is a very tall drink of water. And when I met Jake, he was in a cowboy hat, very tall. How tall are you, Jake?
I'm 6'5".
Yeah. So taller than Alex, in a cowboy hat on top of it, and doing this super fun, gave us a really lovely tour of his tattoos, which just like stuck with me. And if anybody knows me in my personal life, they have heard me talk about your tattoos, Jake, because they just say a lot about, I felt like in the smidgen of time that I got to stand there while you were talking, it felt like this, if I could capture you in a little micro moment, it said a lot to me. I don't know if it's anything true about who you are, but I was like, oh, this is a dorky, like nerdy boy that has a fun personality. And like, that's, I think what I loved about walking through AVN with Alex is because Alex got to interact with so many people. I just got a very more personal side to the porn world, which was really wonderful. Not that I had any like, I didn't have like a negative view. It was just, I've never sat and just talked to so many performers. And so it was just, it made it, I want to be back there. I can't wait to go back next year. So Jake, lovely to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to just double up and say that my time at the AVN Expo was very similar. I had such a positive experience there. I don't think I met anybody that I didn't enjoy talking to.
Yeah.
And like everybody in the industry that I met was so down to earth, so grounded, so personable, so friendly. Like I didn't meet a single person in the industry that I could say a bad thing about.
Yeah.
And
Even,
like,
I mean,
the bigger the kid, the bigger the person, the bigger the the resume that they have. Like the ego didn't match that. Like they were just so down to earth, and they were just people.
Not to be fair, I pretty much hung out just in that little gay section because it was less crowded. And like my introverted, don't really care for crowds thing, when it was the really, really busiest times of the day and I was going through the expo center, I was always kind of like, oh, just get me back to that spot. Also, I have a super big crush on Chad Rex.
I don't know
if you met him. He's another very nerdy boy. But happens to be bi. So, Michelle's like, oh, there's a chance. We actually did. He actually came out to San Diego like the next weekend and we got to spend some time together. But it was quieter in the gay area of the expo, which was really, for me, really nice. But I too didn't meet anybody that wasn't just an absolute delight to chat with. Even like the few people that I actually talked to that were attendees, like fans and whatnot. There was that moment. I don't think I've done anything on my podcast about being there, but being so deeply into like gay porn world with Alex, I was very invisible as a woman. And I find that every time I walk into we were walking into Mr. S Leather in San Francisco and it's like, I don't even exist. And that's a weird feeling and also kind of nice in a way, like it's a break. And so I did interact with one group of men that were there on a bachelor party. And even that was a really delightful experience. So I will seep in the soup of all of the like how do I describe it? It's like there's flirtation in the air with y'all. Like
Yeah.
y'all are like, we should collaborate. And I'm like, is that the new pickup line? I think that's the one I want to go with from now on. It's like, we should do a collaboration. That's the line. Yeah.
Yeah, that yeah.
Yeah, do you want to tell everybody who you are? Because I just
Yes. Oh
talked
my
about
god.
how I met you, but like who are you? What do you
I'm
do?
bad about talking about myself too. So I'm Jake Apton. I guess I could say now like I'm a porn star.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a stripper. I do cosplay. I'm a big fucking nerd. I'm a little bit of everything. I really got to work on that self pitch there.
That's okay. I had this moment where I was like, okay, part of me wants to bring in my business partner Keely to talk to you about cosplay because that's like totally her jam.
Mhm.
She is like Dragon Con with multiple like I think at one point she had a rental van that she drove all her costumes down in
Yeah.
from Chicago. Like
Oh yeah.
she was just at the Star Trek cruise and is like got 3 costume changes a day kind of intense. So one day I'm going to try to get her to AVN. Y'all have to meet because you guys will geek out together.
So
And
I was
then
just at PAX this weekend in Boston. So
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. She wasn't there, but she probably would have been if I hadn't. We just got off of ourselves. We co-own Cuddlist, which is a professional cuddling training
Mm,
organization, and we just got done with a bunch of conferences ourselves that were not nearly as well. I think they're fun, but that's because I'm a therapy nerd. But they're
mm,
not nearly as fun as something like PAX. So
yeah.
yeah, and then I also thought about like pulling my husband in to help me on this because he's like more in the anime side of stuff, and
Okay.
I'm the dork that collects all the nerds from all the different genres, but my genre is
Yeah.
like sex and relationship nerdiness, and so I'm a little I love people's excitement about different things, but I'm not the person that cosplays, but now I wanna know what is your favorite costume that you have? Like, what is your number one go-to? Like, everybody's got their Spider-Man version, right?
I
I think that's what I heard.
kind of I get really bored with my outfits, so like I'll wear mine usually for about like a year cycle, and then like I get kind of bored with like the creative itch of like I want to create something new, so then like I retire them. Like actually, I have my background blurry just because I'm in the process of like cleaning and getting ready to move, so like
Uh-huh.
my entire room is a mess right now. But I just have like bins and bins and bins of like cosplay stuff that I've pulled out of the cosplay closet that I'm now slowly going through.
So you could
Oh,
probably, I'm guessing, like, just upgrade like, t put him in a twist or something? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, I'm just, like, thinking about Keely pulls stuff together.
So one of the cosplays, so the cosplay that I did pretty much, I did it a couple days at PAX. I was a Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
I think
Um,
I saw that picture on your Instagram.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was pretty comfortable. Actually, I didn't mind it as much as it wasn't as obstructive as I thought it would be.
Well, how tall did that make you? Because that was a pretty
But that added, I brought another foot onto me.
yeah, so you probably I
Yeah.
mean, inside pretty big
Plus,
spaces.
it's just big and intimidating. I have like this giant six
Yeah.
foot sword that I'm dragging around behind me. So it's supposed to be an intimidating character. Like he's one of like, the big bads or big bosses that you have to face in Silent Hill. So it's always an intimidating costume, but I have the build for it and I like to bring that to life and
Yeah.
just to see people react to it.
Have you been able
Good.
to bring any of that into, like, any of your porn performances?
I haven't yet.
Oh, I
This
feel
is my
like
first time learning that out.
that should be your special, like, genre.
The issue I face with that is like I don't like doing I don't like doing like the Spider-Man or the Batman or the Superman characters. I don't like the like if I go to a con and there's like 10 other people dressed as the same character,
Yeah,
that's a turn off for me.
yeah.
I would much rather put a lot more effort into like this like nobody character that nobody has ever seen in real life.
Okay,
Like
so
one of
could you pull that into a collaboration where
maybe
if you know, and then you get that, like, super, um, kind of the what do they say?
like the niche.
Like, I remember I went to a burlesque show
Mm.
a couple of prides ago. There was a burlesque show here that was pride themed, but also because it's San Diego, it was Comic-Con themed. So it
Oh
was a
yeah.
mix of
Mhm.
both, right? I can't tell you what it was because it didn't resonate with me, but my husband lost his shit because he knew this little tiny storyline that
Mhm.
didn't hit the US, but, like, it's this very niche little thing, and he
The
was
so niche, the very
yeah,
specific one, yeah.
he was lit up like a Christmas tree. He was so stinking happy to know what that was, and I just think I wonder if that's almost like could be like a little Easter egg for
So
you.
I love that you brought up burlesque because, 2 of the anime cons I go to, I've started running my own burlesque show there.
Yeah,
Because it's exactly that, I want to do, like, these niche characters, these niche moments that like, if I just went to a normal gay bar, like, the one person in the audience is gonna be a gamble if they're there. But if I do this, hyper specific set at an anime con, it's not just gonna be one person in the audience, there's going to be 20 people in the audience that now get this very inside joke.
yeah, that might even be I'm just my brain goes to business,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Well, there's a just a separate OnlyFans situation or
Oh, yeah.
whatever your choice platform of having." What all do you do? What so I know you do some stripping. Did you start in stripping?
Uh, I started with OnlyFans. I started
Okay.
OnlyFans, February 2020, so right before COVID,
Mm,
where, like, everybody else started OnlyFans.
mhm,
But coming out of COVID, I saw an opportunity to start stripping, and excuse me, at that point, I just had, like, the cabin fever from
mhm.
COVID of, like, I need to get outside, I need to do something, like, just give me something exciting to do. So I jumped on it and was like, "Fuck it, this is cool, this is random, let's just go for it."
Mhm,
Actually, I always joke I started stripping because of a trans joke.
mhm.
There was a local gentleman's club that, was they wanted to start having a guys' night. And they put out this flyer, like, very specifically saying no experience necessary.
Yeah.
And a trans friend of mine posted or shared it on Facebook. And the only reason I saw it was because he posted it. But he posted it with the caption I've only been a guy for a couple of years and I don't even have a penis. Do they really mean no experience necessary?
Right.
Which is hysterical. Like that's but
Yeah.
I give him full credit for that. I'm like, yeah, this trans joke is why I started stripping. Like I wouldn't have seen this post if not for that. Um,
Mhm.
and just by getting by getting in the door there and being bold enough to step on stage and take my clothes off, I met so many people and I networked so much that I was performer of the year at one of the clubs I was working at in 2023.
Yeah.
That's X Room in Massachusetts. It's the only fully nude male strip club in New England.
Love that.
Yeah. Uh, so again, just stepping on stage and at that point, just having my full dick out, just like everything on display. Um, yeah.
What is that? Or what are the? Because like, I've only been in a strip club one time, I think. I didn't really like it. I felt like well, some woman that worked there walked up to me and grabbed my tits, and I was like, "I don't even work
Ooh,
here."
yeah. That's
But, like, I don't know, I have such a the level of consent that I
yeah.
am so sensitive to consent. Um, but so is it primarily a gay strip club, or is it mixed? It's just we
The
wanna watch men
yeah.
strip.
It's primarily so the club I started at, and it was that yeah, that was in Albany, New York,
Mhm.
which is my hometown. Um, that was a gentleman's club. They were specifically trying to get a straight female audience to come
Oh,
out.
okay.
And that guy's event they were running didn't last very long because they one weren't advertising it correctly, and having a like a $20 cover on a Wednesday night was
Yeah,
just not a good move.
yeah.
Extreme in Massachusetts is a gay bar,
Mhm.
and at like when I started working there, they were attached. Like the building was physically attached and connected to um, this club called Mardi Gras, which was a gentleman's club.
Mhm.
So oftentimes we would get like the wives of the like so you got people would come and go. Guys would go to one side and like their wives and girlfriends would go to the other side.
That's kinda cool.
It also led to a lot of like just awkward interactions of like we're sitting there giving a lady a lap dance or just sitting on the bar naked, you know, in front of her,
Mhm.
and the guy would come over and then get really upset. It's like
Oh.
Brittany over there was just doing that to you. So like I'm like, right.
I mean, that's just the typical, I think,
Right.
toxic,
Yeah. And
hetero
fragile masculinity.
mono. Yeah, just
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. I just
but
remember I when I was in college, one of my friends was a bouncer at a strip club, and we went out to this bar after like final exams or something like that. And because he was a bouncer at the strip club, come to find out there was a private party going on in this back room for some stripper's birthday
mhm.
or whatever like that. So that was my second maybe kind of experience, but was interesting because I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember that the 2 male strippers that were there were actually gay, and I was
Yeah,
like, "This is just why wouldn't" I don't know, I feel like there's a better market that way. As a
yeah.
cuddler, if you come in to the cuddling world as a male practitioner, um, your clients are gonna primarily be men. I think it just works in all sorts of different industries that's who gets service.
Yeah. And now, like now, I primarily go in New York City, and it's funny that you bring that up because I often get allegations. The customers come in, they don't think I'm gay. They're like, "Oh God,
You don't read typically, like, I mean, even I was like, "Mm,
yeah,
who knows?"
yep." No, they like I've had people say straight to my face like, "Oh, like you're really hot, but like I want to save my money to tip like the gay dancers." I'm like, "So tip me.
I'm sorry I don't fit your
I'm the one you're looking for."
stereotype. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't you have to get branded or something, maybe.
Right.
Maybe that's your next
I
tattoo is like,
I
"No, I'm really gay."
I usually follow it up with something like I yeah, sorry. I usually say, like, when I'm in the club, I'm not gay enough, but as soon as I step outside, I'm too gay for my parents to love. It's fine. It's my trauma. It's
But
oh, no,
I just
I'm in therapy. I had therapy
I
today. We're
know,
good. We're joking about this
I
now.
wish the world wasn't like this, you know? Like,
Uh,
I'm sorry, that's hard. So you're not in Albany anymore is my so you're in New York City more so than
yeah, I'm
that
primarily dancing
area?
in New York City now.
Yeah. I go up to, I flew into Albany last summer. I was, part of this big immersive cuddle retreat.
Okay.
So, I come back that direction. And Albany Airport is such a tiny
Mm,
little almost reminds me of where I grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Like, it was just such
yeah.
a small little regional airport. But, hey,
It's under construction right now
congratulations.
too, so it's even smaller.
What's that?
It's under construction now, so it's even smaller.
Yeah, but I always say, like, congratulations of getting out of wherever you grew up. I don't
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter where it is, but I feel like I avoid my class reunions because a lot of people still live in the tiny little
Yeah.
town that I grew up in. So, um, all right, so I met you and you have these adorable tattoos.
Yes.
Can you I don't take your shirt off, but can you tell us about the like,
Oh,
I always
I can do the full tour. I don't mind. I
I mean,
have,
if you want
10
to,
or
we're
11
on video, so
yeah, it's that's
I will let you take your shirt off. I'm not
yeah.
gonna, like, not let us
Well,
have that
I have,
experience if you
10 or
want.
11 tattoos depending on how you count 'em.
Yeah.
Trying to think what the best way to start, 'cause otherwise I lose count,
I don't
so
even think I knew about all of them. I just remember the
oh
cute
my
like,
gosh.
all the ones that are just so I don't is the word ironic? I'm not sure how to describe the word about how you've chosen to do some of your tattoos that are
Yeah.
so body centric.
So this is my
Yep.
elbow. It's a ghost on my elbow. It's my
Mhm.
elbow, and it's funny because usually sometimes people either immediately get it or I have to explain it to them.
Well, it could be a litmus test.
Yeah. She,
Yeah.
at PAX, I was talking to somebody. He's, "Oh, I like your little ghost." I'm like, "Thanks, it's my elbow." He's like, "Your elbow?" I'm like, "No, my elbow."
Elboo,
And then on my bicep, I have HM04.
which was for
In Pokemon, HM04
oh,
is the
okay.
move strength, and the move strength cannot be forgotten. So I have it. Like when I started like my fitness journey, I got that as a promise to myself that I was going to keep going and remember like how far I've come.
Yeah.
So I have a four-leaf clover with a peace sign, and this is peace and luck. This is based on a bumper sticker from Dutch Bros Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
It yeah, back in college, one of my really good friends, Ashley, she lives up in the Portland area. So she loves coffee, so she'd get, like, duplicates of her stickers, and whenever she had duplicates, she'd send them to me. So this was, my first tattoo, and it was I got this, I'm like, "That'd be a cool tattoo design." And now it's just kinda like and I always like peace and luck because it's just a really simplistic thing, but it's also a nod to, like, our friendship, and we've been pen pals for almost 20 years now.
Love
So
that.
yeah. My
Yeah.
newest one, this is my
Yep. Mhm.
shoulder blade, right?
Yep. This
So
is what I love about you when I met you. I was just like, "This is so fun."
So I have Captain America here on my side. I
Mhm.
have my Captain America belt, and Captain America has always been my favorite hero.
Mhm.
So I have
Oh, this
to
is
add
gonna be
one on my
fun.
thigh. So I have Ghostface on my cat or my
Oh,
thigh.
cool. I don't think I noticed that one before.
I think I was wearing jeans when we met,
Oh, yeah, you're right. You were. You were
and then the rest are all lower on my legs, I should say. So I have this is my calf tattoo
Yep.
because it's a calf on my calf. It's my
Yep.
calf tattoo. And then on this leg, I have Icarus just below my knee. Um,
Mhm.
I like the myth of Icarus, and I can get more into that. And then on the back side, I have I can't quite. So I have. Ooh, it's gonna be blurry,
It wants to
but
blur you.
yeah, but
Yeah. You can
I,
describe them.
yeah. So I have the VFD tattoo from the series of unfortunate events,
Oh, I don't know that
which
one.
it's a book series I read as a
Oh,
kid. Um,
gotcha.
but it was one of my favorite book series, and VFD was like that logo was something I was always doodling as a kid. So, and then I have a Mega Sableye, as a which is another Pokemon, and then I have a piece of artwork that I saw at New York Comic Con just as a print and loved it, and got the artist permission and got it tattooed. So
That's awesome. I
yeah,
would have
that's
more tattoos if I wasn't I'm so bad about making appointments.
yeah.
And the only tattoo I have is see if I can put it in a way that you can see it. It's a dick. It's a tiny little
Okay, yep.
antelope, but it's on my arm for me to look at, so it's a little
Mhm.
hard to show it off, but it's a matching one to my best friend back in Michigan
I love
who
that.
wanted us to get matching tattoos. And she has stage 4 breast cancer, and she said, "Could we get matching tattoos?" And I was like, "I'll do whatever you want me to do."
Yeah.
And she goes, "I thought we could get some like lobsters because they mate for life," which I guess was
Oh,
not
yeah.
actually true. It was like a Friends episode that got like this. Like my husband's in the background going, "Friends lied to you. That's not true." So we looked up a list of animals that mate for life, and because I have this inner 13-year-old boy, it was either going to be the dick or beavers because I figured either one will be fun to say I have on my arm, right? So I'm
Right.
always like, I have a dick on my arm, and it's super wholesome. And at the same time, my inner 13-year-old boy gets to giggle just a
Yeah,
little
you get to
bit.
giggle.
And so, yeah, I have other ideas. But I'm just really bad at making appointments. And then
Yeah.
I have to pick a tattoo artist, and I gotta make an
Mhm.
appointment, plan ahead, and all those things. So I don't know when it will
Yeah.
happen. Somebody's gonna have
There's
to be my buddy.
so yeah, there's one local shop here near me that they've done all my work. Um,
That makes it so much easier if you can
yeah.
just pick your this was done in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the
Yeah.
chances that I'm gonna go back to get on my tattoos done is
And when my dad always had a rule growing up that like we could get a tattoo, but we couldn't get a tattoo before him.
Oh.
Like it was one of like their like rebellious rules. Like if you're gonna rebel, just let us know so we can do it for like. So when I decided that I wanted my peace and luck tattoo, his birthday was coming up, and I got my mom and brother on board. I'm like, what if we got dad a tattoo? Because I want
Oh.
a tattoo.
And he did it?
And yeah, we did it. We there was a bit of like a mix up with the appointment, so mine actually ended up being first. But I kind of knew what he wanted. Like I knew he was looking for a it was like a very fine like black and gray like horse drawn fire carriage. I
Mm.
know. So we grew up in the fire company. Like my parents were both firefighters, so
Mhm.
that's very symbolic for him. But I
Yeah.
took his reference photo and went to like every shop I could think of near my parents' house, and most of them would just most of the shops were like, oh, like it would be this much, or like we'd have to like turn it this way, or like, we'd have to like make it bigger or smaller or whatever. And the one shop we went into, the main guy looked at it and he was like, I want a tattoo. Like, this looks like a fun tattoo. Dude. Could I just do this now? Like, is he ready?
Aw.
And I'm like, this is the answer.
That's the energy.
That's the
That's
shop
the
I want.
energy. Yeah, that's energy you
And
want for
that guy's
sure.
no longer there, but his ex wife runs the shop, and I love her. Like I got like my first tattoo was in 2013, and then I went back to get Captain America in like 2017. And I walked in, and she still knew me by name. I'm like, I haven't been in the shop in years, and she
Aw.
was still able to just like by memory just call up my name and what a way. I love them. They've tattooed literally my entire family. My little brother, my mom, and my ex husband. Oh, I got
That's
tattoos and
awesome.
stuff.
I
So
think it'd be kind of fun to do a family tattoo. I wonder if my kids would be up for it because I don't know that either one of them have tattoos yet. I have a 28-year-old and a 20-year-old.
yeah,
And so
next time you're in Albany, if you want a tattoo, a Vita.
oh,
This
so
isn't even
they're in
advertised.
Albany?
Yeah, they're in
Okay.
Albany. But,
Well, I'll be
yeah,
there in
80s are tattoo.
August. Yeah. I
Highly
might
recommend. I love Jetta. She runs such a good shop.
I might take you up on that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just it takes half the battle away from me of having to figure out who I
Mhm.
would go to. Um, okay, we're gonna play a little bit of We're Not Really Strangers. Prime us a little bit and then decide if we want to get into the sexy stuff. I do
Absolutely.
know that we have a mutual deep love for armpits.
Yes.
And so I would love to find, not that we need an excuse, but I'm just going to let that be the teaser for later in our conversation because I have a story. I can tell stories today. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm very bruised up from a play
Mm.
date. couple
Okay.
days ago, and it involves armpits. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I will happily share a story. Okay. So the way this game works is like the first level is well, that's in the wrong spot. Let me it's perception. So it's how we perceive each other.
Okay.
And because we are actually quite strangers, this should be interesting. So what I do is I'll read it and then we'll both take turns answering it for each
Okay.
other. And you can go first or second. I don't care. I've not, to the people at home, we do not know what these cards are. And so I have not pre-thought, and my brain works kind of slow sometimes. So we have all the time in the world. What reality show do you think I'm most likely to binge watch?
Binge watch.
You don't know me at all. I don't know how you would
I
ever
don't
pick
know.
this.
Yo, I'm trying to even think like which one would I be most likely to binge watch?
I know, because I'm like, I'm going to pick a really old show for you that you won't even know what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But because I see like a Bass Pro thing or something behind your head
Oh,
that shows me every once in a while, I'm like, oh,
um.
maybe you seem like you might be the hunter type.
So actually, I'll let me figure out if I can unblur mine.
Oh, we could
'Cause
explain.
it is a Bass Pro, but it says that's my ass, bro. Stop.
Ah, okay, that helps so much. Okay. Are you a hunter type out of curiosity?
No. Um, my dad was a hunter. My little brother was a hunter. I do not
You're
have the
not.
patience
Okay,
for
then
it.
I'm going to pick a different thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, I'm inclined to almost go somewhere like Bachelor or like Love Is Blind.
Much more Love is Blind than Bachelor.
Okay.
Though I did dive into the Golden Bachelor because I was just curious how, like, between the Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette, how they would treat
Yeah.
them differently. I am a cougar. My husband is 12 years younger than me. I highly,
Okay.
highly recommend um, older women dating younger. And I was so not surprised that The Bachelor, they gave him a bunch of women that were primarily younger than him.
Hmm.
And with The Bachelorette, they gave her primarily men that were older than her, and it pissed me off because I thought, like,
Interesting.
give this woman
Yeah.
mine was supposed to be catch and release, is what I like to say. I wasn't supposed to keep him. He was just a good time. I turned 40
Yeah.
and he was almost 28, and we just kept seeing each other, and now we're married and
Yeah.
we've been together for 10 years. But I just think, I don't know. There's something for me being a sex educator coming into the dating world after my first marriage ended. Older men were intimidated. Like, heaven forbid I know more about sex than they do.
Uh,
And the younger men were just cocky enough to not care. And so, yeah, I think every woman of a certain age should try to go
yeah.
younger. For you, gosh.
I will say there is a reality show I did recently binge watch because I did a porn parody of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was my impetus. I usually
Okay.
don't watch,
You're
usually
not a
don't
reality person.
not really.
Uh,
It's too staged,
yeah. Yeah,
but
there's a lot of problems in that world, especially now that I'm because of my work in the intimacy world, and there's a lot of the dating shows and stuff bring a lot of my colleagues
mhm,
onto them. I get the behind the stage stuff a little
yeah,
bit more. I don't know what to pick for you because I was going to go with the hunting thing. There was this old show. I'm just going to do this because I don't know what to
yeah.
pick for you. There was an old show years ago I watched on PBS that was almost like Ted Nugent reality.
Oh, jeez.
Before I knew that Ted Nugent was a kind of terrible human
Yeah.
being, I loved it, and I'm not a hunter. Like, I was so into it. But yeah, just random. I don't know how old I was at the time. I think I must have been in my early 20s. So late 90s, early
Mhm.
2000s. But that's what I would have picked because you just read that way. But I don't, if you're not a reality person, I don't have.
I did recently binge watch the season of Traders.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
I've heard great things about it, but I
yeah.
haven't watched it. But you did a
It
parody on it?
Yeah, so, actually, while like, when I was in Vegas for the AVNs, Men.com approached me and asked if I would be they approached me and then they talked to my agent, and, I couldn't fly home to New York because of, like, the winter storm that was happening during the
Yes, I
AVN
remember
Expo.
that.
So, instead of going to New York, I went to San Diego and filmed a Traders parody. They very specifically wanted to cast me as, like, the Rob Ross character because I had my cowboy hat. So,
Nice. And that was men.com? Is that
that
what
was
it was?
Men.com, yeah,
Yeah, I
and
hear that
that,
they do a lot of filming here. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, it's just a little plug there. I
Yeah.
got a Grammy nomination for Best Actor for that scene, which came
That's
out a couple weeks
awesome.
ago.
That's
So,
awesome. How long have
yeah.
you been in the actual porn industry, like, outside
So
of doing, maybe
yeah,
OnlyFans counts, but I feel like it's a little bit different.
yeah, it's yeah, and then I can talk more about that too. Um,
Yeah.
I signed on with my porn agent beginning of 2023, I believe. That sounds right. Yeah. And was it maybe it was 2022. Yeah, so beginning of 2022. And I filmed a couple scenes here or there, 2022 and 23. I didn't film anything in 2024. And yeah, I was like considering like ending my contract and just like leaving the industry. And then I had a stroke of luck and a couple like really big gigs pop up, and then I got invited to go to the AVNs, and now I'm just fully like I'm about to dive headfirst into the industry full time. So it's
That's
yeah,
awesome. I love that. Was that just kind of an extension from your time on OnlyFans or
yeah.
yeah,
So should the guy that runs X Room, he knows my agent, so like, he was able to set me up. He's like, "Hey, you're already doing OnlyFans. If you want to do anything professionally, like I have this contact." And I said, "You know what? Like I'm very much a yes man. I like to say yes to opportunities when they present themselves." So yeah, like the door was open and said, "All right, cool. Let's go through it. Let's see where this door goes." So
yeah, was AVN super helpful for making the next
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, it seemed
Uh,
like that was happening just all over the place, like
it's just the process of bumping elbows and talking to
yeah,
people and networking and I mean, even now, like there's so much that I filmed just with people I met in January at the AVN Expo. So it's or
yeah.
this expo, if you will.
Yeah, and then you were at the collab house with my
Yeah,
friend Alex
with
just a couple
Alex.
weeks ago.
Mhm.
There's like 30 guys there.
Yeah, I think there's 10 or 15 in the house, and then
Yeah,
they were doing day passes, so creators in Chicago could access the house and film with us. Which yeah, we had like 20 to 30 people just opportunities to work with people in the house, which it was insane.
it's so good. I know Alex said he got a lot of stuff filmed and
No, it was so much fun too. Like everybody
yeah.
there was so nice and so chill, and it was such a vibe.
I saw a few of your, things that you had on TikTok that
Yeah,
brought all that together because I hadn't seen anything from it yet, and then I when I popped on your TikTok, I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, I know what this is. I've heard all about it." That's awesome. I love overlap. Um, okay, so this level 2 is connection. So, are you missing anyone right now, and do you think they're missing you too?
that's a hard question. Um, see, I don't wanna say I am missing them, but
Mm,
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Uh, Last year I broke up with my best friend, or somebody that I thought was a best
mm,
friend. She turned out to be just a homophobic piece of shit,
aw,
and it was one of those, like, looking back, everybody was, pointing out the red flags to me, and I was blind enough to just not see them. Like, well, when you look
yeah,
through rose-colored glasses, the red flags are just flags.
mhm.
Um, but
Friend breakups are hard.
yeah,
I don't think
and
anybody
it's
gives them as much,
yeah.
like, credit for them.
And going from, like, the, like, shadow, like, you have your inner circle, but, like, I feel like you'll always have, like, that number 1 friend, like, that person, like, that's at the center, like, that your go-to person,
Mhm,
and I had to cut her out, and I'm like, I have, like, this close group of friends, but I'm nobody's best friend. Like,
hmm,
so it's, and I don't wanna say I'm missing her because, like, I don't wanna say I miss her because I don't miss the way that she treated me, and looking back, like, I don't miss the way that she felt, but I miss having that
person.
person. And I almost like I wish I knew that she missed me, and I wish I
Mhm,
thought that she missed me, but I also think that she's narcissistic enough to not and to think that she's in the right for everything.
yeah,
So, um, the other and then, my husband also left last year. Like which our relationship had been not in a good place for a while, but he had a job opportunity and moved out last year. Um, and it's like our relationship was not in a healthy spot, but I do miss having again, like having that connection, having that go-to person,
yeah,
and having like the extra body in the house. So,
yeah,
and it's I actually so when I was in Chicago for the content house, I actually that was my first time seeing my ex-husband since he moved out.
mm,
And like it's our relation I don't think our relationship has healed enough, but we're still friends and we still care about each
mhm,
other. It's just such a pain point for both of us to like we still care about each other. We can't get past that.
yeah,
And we kind of left on mutual terms, but
yeah.
yeah.
Do you
So
identify as monogamous, non-monogamous?
I would say definitely non-monogamous.
Mhm,
I I haven't had a proper experience with polyamory.
yeah,
I'm probably somewhere in that poly spectrum, and definitely do like definitely ENM, like ethical non-monogamous for
Mm,
sex work stuff. But I'm also a bit of an independent person, so
yeah. I only ask because I feel like I I identify as non-monogamous. I mean, I like to say I don't practice polyamory in the way that most people would like
mhm,
see it, but at the same time, if anybody knows me, they know that I definitely
yeah,
I love everybody. I'm in relationships with everybody. And so in that, I say for the person like that I love that I get to miss them very
mhm,
openly because my husband is not like it's just part of our ecosystem that Michelle has feelings for everybody and that it's just
yeah,
something that he's very used to. My previous partner before him, well, I was dating him while I started dating Paul. Kyle, for anybody listening to this, they'll know who I'm talking about. I love him to death. And I don't ever want to really date him again, but it doesn't mean I don't adore him
yeah,
and love the fact that we can still stay connected. And last I talked to him, I was trying to plot. I was trying to plan a reconnection time with him in Michigan, and he said he just hopefully get to come see me in San Diego, and I love that, and he'll be welcomed here in my house, and like I even asked like. I just want to make out with you. I miss making out with you. I don't really miss having sex with you, but I miss making out with you. Like, and I'm the person again, so consent oriented. I'm like, hey, next time I see you, can we make out? And he's like, of course, you don't have to ask me that. And I'm like, no, but I do. Right. Like I
yeah,
don't ever want to assume. And yeah, I miss him so much. I haven't seen Alex. Well, I hadn't seen Alex in a couple of weeks because I was gone on the road for 2 weeks. And he messaged me on the plane and he's like, oh no, like I had a really bad time at BWI airport in Baltimore with the TSA crap. I
mm,
was barely got to my flight because I was in line for 4 hours. Like
jeez, yeah,
you can't check your bag until 4 hours, and then the TSA line was supposed to be
mhm,
5.5 at that point, and I was like, "Well, my luggage is gonna get to San Diego, but I'm probably
right,
not." So anyways, I did make the flight, and Alex and I were texting, and he's like, "I wanna make sure that you're recovering well. I want you to sleep well tonight. Do you want to can I get you some, like, gummies, like, something to help you sleep tonight?" And I was like, "I don't really need it, but if it gives me a chance to rendezvous with you in a parking lot somewhere before I go
yeah,
home from the airport, I'll take it." And
right,
so we met in a dark parking lot and exchanged some drugs, and then and I hugged on him a few times and then
yeah,
headed home to sleep, right? Because like,
yeah,
yeah, I think having those people is
yeah,
so stinking important, and I like
and
to
that's
just do them many deep.
mhm. That's one of the things I love about the anime conventions I go to. Actually, very specifically, Colossal Con.
Hmm.
Um,
Where's
it's
that at?
it's in Sandusky,
Okay.
Ohio.
Yeah,
It's at the
I'm from West Michigan, so
oh yeah,
Sandusky
yeah,
is
okay,
not
yeah.
outside of my, I'm like Cedar Point, yeah.
There's so many people that I only see at Colossal Con, and there's also Colossal East, which is in the Poconos.
Mm,
Uh, but like that's the Colossal is the weekend after Memorial Day, right at the start of summer, and then Colossal East is the weekend after Labor Day, right at the end of summer. And there's so many people that I only see at those 2 events, and I always describe ColossalCon as, like, the best weekend I never remember,
mm.
and it's like it's an absolutely unforgettable weekend that I just never remember, which is the goal, like
Is it because I mean, so my husband runs in the furry world.
okay.
He is not a furry, but all of his friends seem to be. And like he's
Mhm.
off to Las Vegas this coming weekend for a
Yeah.
furry convention. And he always says the really terrible joke about their party animals
Oh,
and that they
yeah,
drink a
and
lot. But I'm assuming in every of those genres that it's a
yeah,
lot of alcohol.
yeah, it's like there's so many people that I only see at those events, and, like, every like, it's being able to, like, to see them and, like, scream their name from, like, from across, the convention venue, and then just, like, the biggest hug, and then just, like, you never see them again for 4 days. It's
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean
or if
I
you do,
feel that
you're too drunk or high to remember it, and it's a great time, I love it.
my favorite thing is reunions. I
Mhm.
love seeing people that I like, even in my work. I
Yeah.
travel, I'm based in San Diego. I see a bunch of clients from when I lived in Baltimore, and I have some clients in Pittsburgh. And I love the reunion aspect of it because
Yeah.
I'm like a golden retriever. I'm so excited that
Mhm.
you're walking in the door And I love just the familiar of regular, like, people I haven't
Yeah,
seen. So, like, I just went to a therapy, conference. Now it's not nearly as fun as y'all have at these other kinds of
yeah.
conferences, at least that's my take on it. But, oh my gosh, my favorite part is the people coming by that I've seen every year for the
Mhm.
last so many years, because it's just, that makes me as almost as happy as watching, the sunrise in the desert. Like,
Yes.
it both those things light me up, and yeah, for sure.
No, the Colossal Con is it's such a it's like a it's not like I miss all my friends like that I see there, but also like we're in such constant communication. Like we're in like all the Discord servers, and I have
Mhm.
like group chats going just from these conventions.
Do you do
And I
any
know
VR chat or anything like that?
we don't VR chat,
Oh,
but
I
but like I so like
my
when
husband
I
highly recommends it, just throwing
okay,
that out there.
no,
Then
I'm always reaching out
you
to
could
them.
have your they have their personas, but you could
Mhm.
have your different cosplay kind of digital outfits. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna connect you with all the people. I'm gonna try I'm curating
Go for it.
this level 3 reflections to something I think we can actually answer. I don't know how you would know these things. That's the problem. Like, we're not really strangers, but we are really strangers. Okay, just a second. I mean, this one works. In one word, describe how you feel right now.
I usually have really good emotional intelligence. I've been working on that, so I'm like really trying to like do the analysis, and like run diagnosis. Say, how am I feeling right? Like, what's that word?
You know how you said to me, like, "Don't threaten me with a good time" when I said you could come on this? I'm
Yeah,
like, "Don't make me swoon over you." Emotional intelligence.
we're in
Jeez.
therapy. It's great.
I love this.
In one word, I probably have to say, and this is gonna sound like a cop out, but I'm gonna have to say tired. Just like I know I kind of say like 2025 was just an emotionally exhausting year.
Mhm.
And then I was also at PAX this weekend, so today is like my big recovery day. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely in that like tired. Actually, I had therapy this morning. I came home and I took a nap, and I had to wake up. Like I woke up because I'm like, I have 15 minutes before I have to meet with Michelle, and I'm like,
Well, thanks
I
for
only need
being
10
on
minutes to walk the dog. We can
time.
speak for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, like, your just everything about communicating with you has been really
Yeah.
easy. You're super, like, relatable, which is funny because my word is nervous. I came into this call today going, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't really know you, and I have kind of a rule about kind of know the people that I have on here. But I'm like, I mean, this is a fun, like, almost like an experiment, and so I'm
Yeah.
like, let's just see how it goes.
Oh, I
And
love to
so,
yap too. Like in my free time, I'm streaming on Twitch, so it's like, and that's
oh, fun.
even when I have people on chat, there's been times that, like, I've had, 20, 30 people watching and nobody's talking in chat, so I just have to sit there and, like, fill the dead space. So I'm really
I've
good at yapping.
I've monologued a few
Mhm.
episodes where I just talk to myself, and it's amazing how long I can talk
Yeah.
just on a topic. So, does the streaming on Twitch help with any of your sales, like parasocial
Sometimes,
relationship wise?
my like, Twitch and, like, even, like, TikTok Live, they
Mhm,
have such strict, community guidelines,
mhm,
so I can't openly say, like, "Oh, I have OnlyFans," like, "Go over there and, like, go supplement," like, I can't openly say that. I
mhm.
can tease it, I can, like, allude to it, but I can't outright say
What
that.
about the other direction? Do you send any people from, because that wouldn't make a lot of sense to send people from OnlyFans to Twitch and have them
I've
get
in the
free
past, I've tried,
access?
like, I've even, like, put on, like, on Twitter, like, "Oh, like, now live on Twitch or now live"
Oh, yeah.
XYZ. But then they get in there, they get into the chat like, oh, like, take off your shirt,
Oh,
show us your whatever. And
it's
even
not the
like
right spot.
Twitch and TikTok Live don't allow like any discussion of feet. Like I got banned from TikTok Live for the day because I like showed somebody my like they're asking what I was wearing on my feet, and I showed them the slipper I was wearing. Like I took it off and said, I'm wearing this slipper. And I got a community guidelines strike on TikTok because I was talking about feet, and they don't joke about that. So that promoting it the other way is just such a risky business that I can't.
Yeah, no,
So
that's crazy. So I couldn't go on there. So let me back up. I love giving my inner child things that make her happy. And my most recent inner child love is color changing toenail polish.
okay.
And so I clearly can't go on and talk
Yeah.
about my excitement for my toenail polish. I hate the world that we live in sometimes, Jake. I just like,
Like,
I don't know.
on one hand, I get it because I feel like of all of the non-sexual organs that are sexualized, feet is like top of the list. But then armpits are right there, and like those aren't policed as
Okay,
much.
let's talk
Like,
about armpits. Let's just
yeah,
not hold back anymore, Jake.
I recently, so actually, the friends I was staying with in Boston, I was showing them one of the interviews that I did with, like at the AVNs, and my again straight friend. He was one of my closest friends. I was like a groomsman in their wedding. He was like armpits. Like, what is it with armpits? I'm like, how do you not like armpits? And even his wife jumped in. And was like, no, armpits are sexy. Like,
Well,
I
and
had to explain to my straight friend like armpits are a thing.
I learned about engaging in armpits in a erotic way
Yeah.
from gay porn because, like, it's
Mm.
my favorite genre of porn for a long time. I go through all sorts of different porn genres. It's
Yeah.
kind of like I need the porn roulette kind of thing and figure out what's going to be the thing
Oh,
that
same.
does it
It's
for
very
me
much a like a
today.
spin the wheel of like what is it like?
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of
Mm.
anything that's more authentic.
Mm.
So I'm always in the amateur side generally. But gay porn always felt more authentic to me than anything else that I was watching.
Yeah.
And so I saw y'all engaging in some armpit licking and I was like, I'm down for that. And now I have such a thing for like opening straight men up to armpit licking. Some
Yeah.
of them love it, some of them don't. My preference, I heard, so you brought this up in one of your interviews, and it
Mhm.
was, you also mentioned the thing about hating the taste of deodorant.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And so then I was like, I had said to Alex, do you think that, I said, there should be like an edible deodorant. And I looked it up and there are. I haven't
Are
tried
there?
any of them
Okay.
yet. But I do feel like this could be a thing that I would love to introduce the rest of the world to. Like
Mhm.
licking armpits, I just get so into it. And then this guy that I played with this weekend, he also enjoyed being bit there because
Okay.
he likes to be bit. And I tried it because I don't think he'd had his armpits licked before. But since he liked biting, I also bit him. And yeah, it was a very lovely time. And
Yeah.
I thank the gay porn world for introducing me to the concept of
It
armpits.
wasn't even a thing that I knew I was into. It, like I didn't not that I could even tell you like, the first time I even, like, dove into somebody's pits, but it's a very, like, spur of the moment thing, and it for me, it feels very primal of,
Hmm.
I'm, like, my first step is always gonna be the nipples, like, I love, sucking, biting, like, I love having just something in my mouth, um, so, like, I always go for the nipples just because like, mine are fairly sensitive, so, like, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
right there, and then I'm just like, from there, I'm just going to dive headfirst into your pits. It's
Curious question. I usually
Yeah.
run these questions by Alex. Um, I know from my own experience, which is primarily no, my preference is to only play with queer men, but occasionally a straight one walks through my door.
Mhm.
Um, I find that there feels like this like disconnection between them and their nipples, and I don't know if it's because of they've turned them into meaning something that's more on the feminine side of life, and that just like I have a hard time getting them to make fucking noises. Like they're all mute. Like I'm curious if you think that that's like conditioning or if you think that in your world you're like, I have a hard time. A lot of men don't have sensitivity, even gay men don't
I
have sensitivity to their nipples.
I have like there's been actually a handful of times I've been made hook up and like just sucking at guys' nipples and he's like, hey, just like that's not doing anything for me. I'm like, okay, well like let me get my film. Like I'll wrap my part up. I'll like okay, like
It's
let me
for
just
me, not for you.
right. It's for me as long as you don't mind it. Like if it's a net zero for you, like if you're not hating it, then okay, I'll do it just to get my fill and then we'll move
Yeah.
on. But this is something for me. Like I like having mine licked and I like nibbling on other people's.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go right there, and then I'm gonna go to your pits. So I have learned to check for deodorant.
Still in the horniest of moments, Jake, I will still go in and I will regret it, but I don't.
Mhm.
I make a choice.
Yeah.
I make an informed choice, and sometimes I just go, well, yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's I'm more like the taste. Because some guys like their sweat gets really bitter,
hmm,
and I don't know if it's if it's like workout sweat versus sitting in direct sunlight sweat versus like I don't know what type of sweat or what layer of sweat it is, but some guys like their sweat just tastes really bitter.
mm.
I don't like that, but some guys like they have like the right scent, the right flavor. And I'm like, yes, give me.
I feel like there's a scientific study in my future
Perhaps.
of definitely needing more trials on this because
Yeah.
I've never like if I get lucky to not have a person with deodorant, like my husband, he knows he'll like if he thinks there's sexy times coming, he will purposely not put deodorant on. And I
Yeah.
like a good musky, like give me your I don't if you came in smelling like whatever, I'd be like, I'd rather
Yeah.
smell that. I remember one time Alex came over and we were gonna cuddle and he's like, oh, just a minute, I gotta go wash up my armpits because I didn't put deodorant on. I'm like, don't do it. Not that I planned on licking his armpits. I mean, it could
Right.
happen. But I'm like, I like that smell. Like you don't have to cover that up for me. But
Yeah.
I just don't have a big enough sample size to say that I know that sweat tastes different. Now I'm gonna find out. You've inspired
And
me.
there's a thousand variables it could be. It could be anything from if they're smoking cigarettes to
Yeah.
like what type of sweat, like how they got their sweat, or like right like that. There's
Well,
because I
yeah.
also
What did
I
you
have scientific
eat?
background too, so it's yeah like that's there's so many variables that it could be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, that gives me you give me a project. And that will be my new I'll look for volunteers to let me break their usually it's a virginity issue too, like they've
yeah.
never had their armpits licked, and I'm like, "I love taking virginities, that's such a great." It used to be prostates. It used
Mhm.
to be that a lot of, guys would be with me and they're like, "You love prostate play so much. I wanna know why you love it so much. Would you
Mhm.
do this with me?" Now I've learned to say, "Have you ever eroticized your prostate? Because if you haven't, me touching it isn't magic."
Right.
You have to have already kind of built up something around it,
Mhm.
other and then I'm not gonna enjoy it if you're, like, kinda like the guy that says my nipples don't really have a lot of feeling,
Right.
like, for me to touch your prostate, it's not like sucking on a nipple,
Yeah.
where I can enjoy it even if you're not enjoying it or whatever.
Yeah.
I just yeah, I've learned to ask more questions and be like, "Yeah, if you haven't really got into this already, I'm not gonna be the magic person that turns
Right.
that light on for you." Speaking
Yeah.
of which,
Yes.
you probably didn't meet him. I have a coffee date this week with somebody who calls himself the prostate prophet, and I met him at AVN.
Okay.
He wrote a book about
I
prostate
yeah.
play.
All right.
I'll have more information come, Thursday, but his name is Eric Wynn.
I'll
Yeah,
have to look him up.
so who knows? Um, okay, we're gonna do sexy questions, and we got
Let's
sidetracked
go.
by, armpit love. And also, if I try any of this deodorants, I will let you know.
All right.
Okay. Considering that you are my guest, this is such a dumb question. I'm gonna say it anyways before I put it back. If your camera roll went public, would you be able to run for president? And I joke that
In this day and age?
my son wants to be in politics, and I'm like, you
Ah,
do know your mother's a whore. Like,
right.
you're never gonna like the background check thing, you're gonna have to go in super confident
Mhm.
in what it is and what it isn't. And I apologize for that somewhat, and at the same time, I don't because I wish we could just get over it, but yeah.
I so the dark joke I wanna make, and I feel like it's inappropriate, but, like, I was just like, I don't have any children in my, photo gallery, so obviously I can't run for politics.
Well, that's a whole other thing.
That's all, gee, like, I feel bad making that joke. I think that's one of
I
the
saw some stuff yeah. No, I mean, it's a whole different day and age. That joke used
yeah,
to mean something else, and currently it's
mhm,
a whole different thing. Yeah. It's dark times. Let's find a
yeah,
different one. This is like single X, so not
yeah.
super X. Um, what assumptions do people make about your sexuality, and are they right or wrong?
So many people assume I'm straight.
Oh, yeah.
So many people assume I'm straight, and I'm, like and I know I was kinda saying this earlier, but, like, when I'm in the club, I'm too straight, when I'm outside of the club, I'm not straight enough, and
Mhm.
that's I don't know, 'cause
Yeah.
I have had friends, or new friends meet me, and it's like, "Oh, like, I thought you were gay. I thought you were straight until you opened your mouth, and then, like, just the way you carry yourself, I knew you were gay." I'm like, "What does that mean?"
That's
But
interesting. Yeah, does
yeah,
that affect your dating life at all?
not really, just, like, it's even in the gay community, like, some people like masked people, some people, don't like masked people, so, like, that's not really something I can, like, really drive or, I, like I no aspect of me is performative. Actually, I mean, stepping on stage and performing is performative, but whatever. Like, but
Well,
even
I
like,
mean, professional Jake
yeah,
can look very similar to non-professional Jake,
mhm,
right? I
mm,
don't think I have a different personality whether I'm working or not working.
yeah,
And I know some of my colleagues that do have a different, like a whole different. what it feels like to me, a whole different persona,
When I
right?
started stripping, one of the best pieces of advice I got was to treat it like acting. Like when I get to the club, I put on a character, and when I get, when I leave the club, I take that character off. And I was a theater kid in high school, and then actually when I was in college, I was a school mascot. And it's mascotting and stripping is so similar.
Mm,
They're just opposite ends of the spectrum. Like it loops back around.
it's all a
Because you're
circle.
like this larger than life persona, and you have to like it's all body language. You have to like perform to the back of the room, that type of acting. And the character of Jake that I built up, it's who I am. Like, that's the Venn diagram's almost a circle, but there's like that bit of me that I keep for when I'm
Mhm.
home, and that bit of me that's only out at the club.
Yeah.
But even like
Well,
it's yeah
it's still work,
yeah, I
right?
would say it's
Like,
absolutely work.
I mean, the difference for me is like, okay, if you were in my personal life versus my professional life, is that I have my own needs. It's not
Mhm.
just what's for the
Yeah.
client, right? And like, I think that throws people for a loop. I tell a story sometimes about a client that was like, super love fest. We had all the love in the room. The oxytocin was flowing.
Hmm.
Great, great, great time together. Um, I always would say, don't sign any contracts after our time together because we're both in a very different headspace. And then I felt like things were shifting a little bit, and I was afraid there was gonna be a request for I just saw there was something that was gonna, I feel like, be a complicated question at some point. And so we played this little game so I could help him be ready to hear a no, because I
Yeah.
think it's important to, like, I want people to know how to hear no.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily, get that kind of training in the world. And, the question was, could I take you to dinner? And I
Right.
said, well, because we were just playing this like hypothetical, but in this space, in this round, it was ask for something you really want. And I'm going to
Yeah.
give you a real answer, but we're not going to do any of it. That
Yeah.
was the rules. And I said, I need more information. Are you taking me as a client or as a friend?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, what's the difference? And I was like, when I'm with you as a client, you have all of my attention. My ADHD doesn't exist anymore. Somehow I'm able to stay really present with
Yeah.
you because there's this time frame that somehow my body understands that I am in
Yeah.
session from this time to this time, and it's all about you. If I'm going out with my friends, it's not the same thing. I'm checking my phone. I'm
Yeah. No. Yeah.
multitasking. And
I
he's like,
100%.
"Oh, yeah, I might not even like that version of you." Yeah, you might
Yeah,
not. Yeah, I'm still very much the same. It's just how I show up is different as a
yeah,
professional, just boundary wise. So, yeah.
yeah. So there's yeah, like in similar at the club, like because I have my Scream tattoo, so every now and then people like will ask me about Scream, and like I could give a TED talk about the Scream movies. I love Scream. There's so much that I could just like go into, and some people have triggered that dialogue response option for for me, right? And like that's also just me in real life. Like if I'm wearing a Scream shirt and a Scream T-shirt, and people ask me about it, I'll just go into Scream. I will launch right up on into my TED talk. Uh,
Is that your special interest? Are you neurodivergent? Jake, do you have any diagnoses?
Yeah, Scream is one of my special interests. Like that is my ADHD special interest.
Yeah, I identify ADHD also. I've only
Mm.
got technically a ADHD
I was
diagnosis, but
conversation
I
I
don't
was
resonate.
having with one of my friends the other day is like the instances of ADHD and autism and just ADHD in the sex work sphere. Like
It feels high.
that Venn diagram is a circle.
Yeah,
Like
no, that's what I picked up on by being involved in all these little micro conversations with Alex. Was I was like, "Oh, well, that's why I'm really comfortable here." I think that was one of
yeah,
my first signs that I also might uh be a little ADHD or any
yeah,
of the neurodivergent side of it. I wasn't sure. I came home from a thing workshop years ago, and I said, gosh, I was so glad there was these two autistic folks in the room and they asked the most interesting questions. I'm so glad they were there. And honestly, they're the people I felt the most comfortable with.
yeah. I'm
It's like the
yeah.
slowly unraveling of like, oh no, those are my people.
Yeah, I'm like diagnosed ADHD. The autism part of it, I'm not diagnosed, but I am heavily peer reviewed.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. I think I saw a shirt like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not diagnosed, but God, I have to ask this one marketing team that we were with at the psychotherapy network or conference that I was just at, they had some really cute shirts that were of that similar vein of like, I'm not diagnosed officially, but
But
yeah.
the maths.
The math. I get it. And then sometimes it's funny because with clients, I'll be like, so do you have any like any neurodivergence that I should know about? And they'll be like, no. And I'm like, okay.
Are you sure?
I just want to know if you identify that way or not, because I'm not going to place that label on you.
Yeah.
But like, if you do, then I can be really open about it. If not, I'm not going to say that. But like, I have the sniffer.
There's a porn star I know in New York City, and I was collabing with him when I went to his apartment and walked in, and the one wall of his bedroom was just floor to ceiling board games, like not Monopoly or Clue, but like the depths of like, oh, I funded this on Kickstarter, and like there's only like 10 copies of this in the world. I'm like that level. I'm like,
yeah. So
so
Chad Rex, the cutie that I attached myself to at AVN. So he messages me like the Friday after I got home from AVN. And he's like, hey, my partner is going to be filming with men.com in San Diego this weekend. So I'm going to be in town. We could hang out while he's filming. And I was like, how cool is that? Because I only got you in little snippets at AVN. And so we got to hang out. And I said to my husband is so cool. I fucking love him. I said, hey, so Chad's coming over. Could you do me a solid and like vacate? And he's like, I want to share him with you. I really do. But the first time I just want him for myself. I was like, Michelle's been a really good girl. She needs this. This will be great. And I said, but stay and meet him first so you guys can get a vibe check or whatever. And oh my God, they hit it off over board games. And I'm just like, of course.
Of course. Yep.
Of course. I'm like,
yeah,
I bring all the nerdy boys to the yard, even though I'm not as nerdy as they are.
So many of the people I met in Vegas, because there's even a couple like female porn stars that I met that again, hearts of gold. They were the nicest people, and after a brief conversation, I'm like, all right, we're all on the same team here.
Yeah, no, I got to hang out in the models lounge a little bit with Alex, and no, I was at that place. I really was like, so I work a lot in platonic world. But my heart is I'm a super big sex geek and like also do a lot of work. Just do a lot of sexual trauma recovery work, but it doesn't allow me necessarily to hang out with the I don't know, the sex world is not where Cuddlist like puts ourselves in like we wouldn't have a booth at AVN, but man, am I trying to figure out how to get us at AVN because I was like, oh my God, I'd rather be in these spaces than anywhere else. Everybody's just, I don't know.
I was really prepared for so many big egos at AVN, and that was just not the experience.
No.
Like, even the people that were nominated and won awards were just so down to earth. It was such a good experience. And I actually was talking to my friends, even like my ex-husband, saying like the atmosphere at AVN was the same atmosphere that I absolutely love about Colossal Con and the other anime cons I go to. It's just such a warm and friendly atmosphere. Like the experience of like meeting somebody like in the elevator just once, like, bumping into them again and again and again on the con floor, and then by the end of the day, you're like, you're just my best friend now. Like,
yeah.
That's such an experience. Like I thought was specific to anime cons, and it's just conventions. It's just that like we're gonna keep bumping into each other.
I think it's a common overlap. And then, like you said, if the Venn diagram turns into a circle, which does in so many different kinds of communities, there's just such an overlap with the nerddom of whatever your nerddom is, with porn, with BDSM, with poly, with like a Renaissance fair world, like all these different, whatever your special interest is, there is a lot of overlap with all these spaces just inherently.
So actually, I think this is a good segue. I know I was teasing this when we were discussing like what we were going to discuss. I think one of the big differences between specifically Colossal Con and the AVN Expo is like, now, like, they're both horny, but like AVN felt very professionally horny, and Colossal Con specifically is very like feral horny.
Professional horny and feral horny. Love this.
Well, you get what I mean, though.
I do. Yeah.
Colossal Con specifically because of that con, there is a deep, deep lore. Like this goes back almost 10 years at this point of cum in the hot tub.
Oh, I mean,
So
that's what everybody's fear is about public hot tubs in general. But
So the at Colossicon, they have a night swim, where like they open up the indoor water park at the hotel from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. It's 21 plus only, and it's like, but they also have big like they set a DJs up at the wave pool, and they have like this big rave in the wave type thing. And the big draw is the this hot tub that has a swim up bar in it. And according to lore, and I this was like the year before I started going. So I don't actually know if this is substantiated or if this is just rumor or whatever, but somebody had sex in the hot tub and came. And that moment has now become such a core meme of the group and such a shit post in the community of it that they now have cum wrestling.
oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did we not talk about? Yeah. Come
Yeah.
wrestling. I
Cum
am
wrestling.
so curious. And my husband was
So
so curious.
and I know the guy that runs it and puts it on, and I was talking to him the other day. I'm like, what do you use for the cum? Because there's one of like actually I was talking with Derek Cage, a big gay porn
I
star
know
that
that name.
he yeah was telling him about it because I was telling you I was at PAX and he was texting me, so I was like, oh hey, what's up? And because he's also a bit of a nerd. Because he mentioned like that he used to go like LAN fest and everything. I'm like, oh, yep, they have LAN at PAX. But I was telling him about that. I'm like, yeah, you'd think that like, and like all the guys that do the cum wrestling are straight. Like
Okay.
they have there are girls that do it, but it's mostly straight guys that sign up for cum wrestling.
I mean, is this
And I'm
just
like,
lube wrestling? Like, because to me, I know that
yeah,
my favorite lube, I also happen to say looks a lot like cum.
I have a bottle of cum lube right here from Fort Trough. But the guy that runs it, I asked him, it's honey powder, and he has a specific link
Huh.
that he gets it in bulk, and but yeah, it's the same thing as Jello wrestling. They make it white and milky, and it looks like cum.
I love
And
that this is an event.
it's just such a like the fact that it's gotten to the point where it's not even sexualized anymore. Like in the context of the con, like that just openly discussing cum like that isn't even done in a sexual way. It's done in a jokey way.
Well, once you start talking about it enough, it loses its sexual appeal
Oh,
anyways.
absolutely. I mean,
Like
yeah,
I think about, we had a friend here in San Diego that liked to cook with cum.
yeah. Oh,
And
huh.
yeah, it just anything that you do in a much more normalized fashion,
Yeah.
it de-eroticizes it. Just like I go to a lot of nudist spaces, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes my husband will say, I forget to eroticize my friends
Oh,
because
yeah.
like just because they're nude doesn't like it's everything's been pulled apart, that it's no longer
All
this
right, I'm gonna send
taboo.
you a picture of the cum wrestling because I know I have one
Awesome.
saved on my phone. Um, and I know I did it recently too. Where is it? There it is.
Are you sending it to my
Yeah, I just sent this on
Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. I was gonna do, I mean, the blow up pools work well for lots of things. I was gonna do a splashing party, you know,
Okay.
food play.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they like to use those pools for that too. But I had a friend, we were in Vegas for ASECT, which is the sex therapy conference.
Uh-huh.
And we were set up to have our room. I had plastic. It was going to look like a Dexter prep,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like, and we were gonna do all this food play using those pools inside the room, and we ended up going to burlesque instead, but
Yeah.
all good. Less cleanup.
Uh, yeah. It's always fun to like, and like I love how sexual it is. Like, yeah, especially comparing what should be apples and oranges, and it's like no, like they're both just sex. It's
And I love that it doesn't turn men off from straight men from wrestling
yeah.
straight men just because it's cum, or supposed to
Yeah,
be
like
cum.
they just lean into the joke. It's like, oh, I'm covered
Yeah.
with cum. Look at that.
I think it takes a special group of people though too. I don't know.
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know, the average straight dude isn't ready to tackle those
Also,
weirdnesses.
it's also such a like a safe space, and I know like I know it's not usually how safe space is like usually used, but like it's such a safe environment to like just be kind of weird and crazy like that. And
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah,
what
I
I
totally
mean.
you can like wrestle and come, and nobody's going to like accuse you of being gay or say, oh, that's so gay that you did that. It's like no, like you're doing it for like, for the shitpost. You're doing it
It's
for the
not
joke. Like
it's not gonna be the guys. I was just talking about this
right.
with somebody recently. When I was in the dating world on like OkCupid and stuff
Hmm.
back in the day. And again, I love prostate stuff. And so I would get these guys that'd be like, would you peg me? And I'm like, at that
Yeah.
time I was a no because I'd not done it yet. And I didn't want to do it for the first time with somebody I didn't know because
Hmm.
I would say I don't peg on the first date because
Yeah.
it was vulnerable because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to do that with somebody I didn't know. Like I wanted
Yeah,
somebody I
that's
could
fair.
work that stuff out with. But how many times did I hear, um, does that make me gay?
And it's like, no, like,
You
if you're not
answer that
romantically attracted
question
to men,
for
then no,
me.
you're not gay. Like,
There's a
it's yeah,
lot of things that'll make you gay. Having something in your butt is not the thing
yeah.
that will make you gay. Yeah. The
I
question
think
I never want to
masculinity
hear
is just
again.
so fragile that like, and even if you are gay, it's like, okay, and if it does make you gay, then okay, you're still you. It's
Just like if you're gay and you have sex with a woman, doesn't make you straight.
uh-huh. That's
Have you got to my episode with Alex where we had the sex experiment?
I listened to the episode you sent, and I started to listen to the follow up.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but I didn't get too far into that one.
Well, you might. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. But so for me, what assumptions do people make about my sexuality? Well, so
I'm gonna solve this question.
yeah, I identify as asexual, and so people either assume that means that I don't like sex at all,
hmm
or that I'm not actually asexual. It's one of those two things.
hmm
It's like you're clearly not asexual because you talk about sex all the time, and I have a fair amount of it. I'm calling this, you can steal this. I got this from a client. This is 2020 sex instead of 2026
I
because
like that.
I turned 50 in October, and I had taken pretty substantial break from being too open in my relationship. It was
Mhm.
much more, I just need some, I don't know, levelness in my life. And I feel like every time you add new people, you never know if you're going to fuck something up. And
Yeah,
I was not taking a lot of risks. And so this year, one of my words on my vision board is risky, but I'm sturdy and risky.
okay,
And so this year I have been living my best return to slut life that I can
love that.
possibly do. So, all right, that was that throw. I'm going to take a real quick pause in our episode today and just say thank you, listeners, for being here. If you are a listener of the Intimacy Lab podcast and you'd like to try going through some of these questions with me, guess what? I decided to make it an offer. You can learn more at intimacylabpodcast.com. I'm going to offer 30-minute and 60-minute options to get intimate with me. Join me on a video call where we will go through our own We're Not Really Stranger cards and get to know each other. It's a great place to practice. So if you want to practice getting intimate with your words, go over to the intimacylabpodcast.com and sign up for a call. Now back to this episode. Oh, this is interesting. If you could thank one sexual partner from your past, who would it be and what would you thank them for? Yeah, I have mine if you want me to go first.
Yeah, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay. And I've probably told this story before in here, but I dated a man for maybe 6 weeks, way back post divorce. And he loved my thighs. They're my least confident body part. And he would be like, "Oh my God, I just love your thighs." And he was just so consistent in that messaging. It
hmm
really, really was quite the gift of just letting that be true and like letting that sink into me. I think it really helped me with my body image. So that's who I would think. Don't remember his name, but that's that's who I would think.
And because most of my sexual partners, like if they were good enough for me to thank them, then I've gone back for more, and I'm still occasionally going to that well.
Yeah.
um, but there was a guy I dated briefly, end of college, like right in that window. Um, I thought we had incredible chemistry, and one of the first people that I really like, fell for. But he gave me the one time we were playing, he gave me a hickey like right on like that tendon between like at the top of your leg.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like when he was sucking on that part, like that section. I remember I was screaming. It was driving me wild. Like it was one of those like don't stop, but also I'm going to like make it as hard as possible for you to stay there because like
Uh-huh.
and I remember like for the length of the hickeys, like the next couple of days, like it was just such a tender spot. And I've tried to give other guys that hickey and I haven't been successful. And nobody since then has been able to do that in the same spot. But like,
Huh. Yeah, I call
that
them
like
they're lovely souvenirs, right? They're
yes.
they stay, even if you can't, like, just feeling them,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
whether it's like, I don't know, are you into fisting
Slowly getting into it.
as a
Um,
receiver or top?
I've only experienced receiving.
Okay.
Actually,
So,
I
you'll
posted.
know this when I say, when you're a
Yeah.
little tender the next day
Oh, mhm.
and you're like, "Huh, I remember what happened there." Yeah. That's when I was like, so, the product that Alex works for is Dr.
Yeah.
Tush. Um, I was really bummed that I didn't bring any with me because I was like, "This is my perfect test case use." So it got applied a day late, but or 2 days late. 2 days late? 3 days late? I don't know what day it was. I think I got fisted on Thursday, and I didn't get to put it on until Saturday nights. But I was still feeling it. The stretch stays.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I posted one, like, I have a rule on my OnlyFans, like, if you buy me a toy, then, like, you get, like, the first video I make with it, like, that's
Yeah.
exclusively yours, and, somebody sent me it was a double dildo, so it was, like, 2 penises kinda, like, fused together like this,
Yep.
that the guy
Oh,
stayed.
you mean they were, like, lined up next to each other rather
They
than
were like
just.
this,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
So I had to figure out how I was going to, like, because at that point I was like, we were still puckered up tight. So I worked with the local dom to stretch me out. And it took a better part of a year to be able to take that toy just because the shape and texture of it.
Yeah.
But I'm still working with him and took his, I got the full Muppet treatment for the first time and we recorded it and I put like a 10-second clip of it on OnlyFans. Like, this is the first time that I was actually able to take his entire wrist and, like,
Mhm.
do the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Within, like, hours of posting that video, my agent was calling me and 3 different directors were calling me being like, "I didn't know you could do that." I'm like, "Whoa, pump the brakes here. That was the first time."
So is
And
that
now,
gonna, you know what, do you want that to be what you're known for? Your s
no,
your
that's I don't
specialty?
want. But yeah, so I posted that video about 2 weeks ago, and I now have a scene. I'm waiting on test results, but I have a scene next week in Palm Springs. That's a fisting scene. I'm like, guys, I told you, like, give me 6 months for this. Like,
Yeah, I've always
well,
wanted, my husband's never been down for the training that would be
yeah,
required, but, I have there is a guy that used to live here in San Diego that had giant hands. I remember the first time I met him,
mhm,
I was like, "Hold your hand up to mine," and it was just such a, like, difference, and we had a play date. And somehow he managed to get completely in, and I was like, I didn't know if I was horrified at the fact that I was able
mm,
to do that or patting myself on the back that I was able to do that. Like, I had such a this, like, I'm not sure
yeah,
if I want to know that I can take all of this, and also, wow, I took all of that. Like, we did this, like, debrief the next day. He's like, "I've never had anybody be able to take my whole fist," and I was like, "How do I feel about that?" I could never do it again. I would never do it twice because he's a sadist. It
yeah,
was way too fast. I would call it slightly violent.
mm.
I was thrilled that I managed it, but at the same time, I would never sign up for, like, another attempt at it. It was, yeah.
I I feel like it's got to be some degree easier with vaginas than
I
with
think it probably is.
anus.
I've never done anal fisting, for myself,
Mhm.
only vaginal, but, like, yeah, we can push babies out. Like,
Yeah,
technically, it has capacity to do a whole lot of stuff, and, like, I can't say
I
I've
know, like,
seen some wild
with
stuff,
yeah,
but
with anal play, like, there's so much muscle control that goes into it, and it's not even, like, muscles that you're used to using, so you really have to, like, focus and get in touch with how you're accessing and controlling those, and, like, they're
mhm,
so innately connected to your emotions and just, like, as a response that, like, the slightest stimuli can, like, seize everything up, and then, like,
mhm.
it's so much to then get back to a point of, like, relaxation to, like,
You can't fake the relaxation.
yeah, no,
Right,
it
you
has
really
to be.
can't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember, the first time I did a fisting scene, at a party that wasn't my husband, 'cause he was the only one that had fisted me at first, and this woman was like, "Oh, are you here by yourself?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh, would you like to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you got in mind?" And she goes, "Do you like fisting?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't know how to negotiate it because 'cause I'd only
yeah,
ever done it with my husband. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, but, what I know about myself now that I didn't know about myself then, and how did I learn this,
Yeah.
is that after I orgasm, I tighten right up,
Oh,
and
yep.
she did not get out of me fast enough, and she's like, "I'm gonna need you
Mhm.
to take some deep breaths," right? And I was like, "Oh." So, like, I call my then boyfriend, and I was like, or maybe I texted him, I said, "I just got fisted." Clearly, what you know that I don't know is that after I come, you need to get out of me, like, right away. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
gotta get out of
Mhm.
there right away." Like, no, I didn't know I needed to know that, but now I know that anytime I go into negotiations, it's like, "Get out of me fast,"
Yeah.
because yeah, I don't want to. I've given birth to 2 children. I'm not interested in birthing anybody's fist out of me. Mhm. Good times.
Alright.
All right.
So, yeah.
This is some of my cards have gotten mixed up over the years. Okay, this is level 3.
Mm.
Well, that doesn't work. That's like a group card.
Ooh.
Well, it was like, here's the question. It was, which players are most likely to have fucked each other on the down low?
Oh, yeah, that's
That's not going to work for
that doesn't
us.
really apply to us. Nope.
Well, I don't know. Have we both hooked up with Alex? Have you done any scenes with Alex yet?
I I feel like we definitely did a group scene. Jane, so we did a couple group scenes at the house. I don't remember if we actually penetrated each other. He definitely blew me.
Well, he's only blown me. He hasn't penetrated me either.
Yeah.
So we're
Well,
we're we're Eskimo sisters in that way, of some kind of way, I'm sure.
and there's a high likelihood that he's going to listen to this. And so, Alex, I'm so sorry if we did actually have a scene, if we did share more of a scene, and
He's chill. He's chill.
I'm so sorry. I don't remember that. I don't
That's
remember a lot of
okay.
things. Yeah, though there's been times, especially doing OnlyFans and just with hookup culture,
Mhm.
that like I've met people. And it's like, oh yeah, well, how are you? Nice to meet you. And it's like we've had sex before. I was like, have we? Oh,
I
I guess we
can't.
did.
I There was a point, um so I married my high school sweetheart. Was with him for 21 years. Coming out of that, I remember listening to a podcast one day where these 2 women were talking about how they would return back to the same lover to not raise their number. And I was
Huh?
like, I never want to ever make a decision like that. I
Yeah.
refuse. At that point, I said, I'm never going to count. And
See,
I
meanwhile, I'm
certainly,
more of a numbers game. Like, let's pump those numbers up. Like,
I don't see a problem with it. This whole
yeah.
thing about like body count bullshit, whatever. But um yeah, I can't remember names. I'm not interested in remember every person that I've ever been with.
Oh, it's always fun. Like whenever I have to go to like Planned Parenthood or get an STD test, and they're always like, oh, like how many partners have you had in the last in the last month? I'm like, one, I stopped counting after 10, and that was about 3 days into the month. So like,
You're like, do you know what my job is?
right? How
I'm
many partners
having a
have I had in the last
really
year? Oh boy, like
I've
so
had
let
a
me get
really
this.
I've had a really interesting time learning from Alex kind of all that's happening in, like, I'm calling it med tech. Like,
Okay.
as far as, like, the safer sex world of, like, medications,
Oh
because
yeah.
I grew up in a time when, we had Monday night movies on, like, the AIDS epidemic. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I grew up in a
Yeah.
very different time, and it's been really interesting now to, like, I've decided I'm on PrEP. I've got PEP. I've got a prescription for PEP, Dexipep. I've got so I'm on the 3-month regimen of testing now,
Yeah.
and my husband's doing the same thing, and it's just really interesting to like now renegotiate with myself, like what are my safer sex practices? How can I feel like I can modify them a bit? How much of weird leftover purity culture comes into my thinking
Mhm.
about like in the who are you fluid bonded with?
Yeah.
Talk. I don't know if that's ever been a thing in your world, but like for like in the poly world, it was always like this. How many like are you like I've always only been fluid bonded with one person at a time, and now that's not the case. And it's just interesting to wrap my head around
Yeah.
this current options. It's really, and I've learned so much of that through Alex because we get a lot of car time together, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, young buck, teach me your ways because y'all have very different him and even meeting Chad, like uh I know it's different when you're in the professional sex world.
Mhm.
It has to be different, but it's still like I'm just wrapping my head around the use of medications. I feel like I don't know if I just people in my circles aren't talking about it. enough yet, but I always give myself that mandate to like talk about shit that nobody's talking about so
Yeah.
it normalizes it. So this is my announcement, everyone. I'm on PrEP. Yay.
I feel like Doxy, especially Doxy and Prep are so like so gay central, gay focused.
Mhm,
Like, so I mean, I have straight friends that I know hook up at least, the same amount, if not more than me,
mhm.
and they're not on Doxy. Like, oh, yeah, are you on Prep? Like, what's that? I'm like, how do you not even know what this is? Like,
Right. Yeah, and
yeah,
that's been so interesting. So part of what kicked a lot of this off was I asked Alex, I was trying to find we were in a time crunch for some STI testing
uh-huh,
because part my husband was off to travel and was going to hook up with some people and hadn't planned well. Thank you, ADHD. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah,
I'm like, so Alex, who do you recommend for testing? And he gave us some different options, and we both jumped into Q Care, which
okay,
is meant for gay men. And it's interesting coming in there. I picked a female provider, and in a lot of what she would usually say had to be tweaked a bit for me, but you could tell that they're so used to
yeah,
working with gay men, and some of the risk factors haven't been tested out so much
yeah,
on
yeah,
female bodies. And yeah, but it's interesting to figure out, why do I have hesitations? Where does that come from? What
mhm,
is what programming is playing a part of that? And so the last of our
okay.
things here, because we've been on for a long time, I should let you go. Um,
Yeah, I told you I can just yap.
I know. But here's my dream, is that somebody puts me on a really long form, like a 3-hour podcast where I can just go. What was the most inconvenient time you've been turned on? I don't even know what I'm going to answer for this, but I'm curious of what yours is.
Inconvenient time I've been turned on. I don't know because I have such a strange relationship with my libido.
Ooh, let's talk about
Um,
that if you're open to
yeah.
talking about that, because I think that's way more interesting.
So I am trying to like reacquaint myself with not with my sexuality, I guess like with my libido, with my relationship with sex.
Mhm,
Um, and doing sex work, I've realized like there's different types of sex.
mhm,
Like I even fairly early on, I realized there's hookup sex, like the hot, steamy, dirty sex, um, like the feral sex, and then there's
mhm,
also like the passionate romantic sex.
mhm,
And those both have their time and place. And once I started doing OnlyFans, I realized like that, like, okay, there's also like OnlyFans sex where it's like,
mhm,
like the it's like that feral sex, but you're still catering to a third person there. Like
mhm,
you still have to be conscious of the camera. You're still, trying to make sure that it looks good and that like the emotions of that experience can come through because it kind of drives like the amateur form of it. And once I started doing porn, I realized that there's like this fourth layer of sex. Like it's just studio sex.
mhm,
And porn sex is just boring.
mm,
And it's not that like again, everybody I've met and have worked with has been super fantastic. Would work with just about everybody again, but it's so for the camera. They're like, "Hey, put your dick in, and now, okay, now hold it right there. We're gonna take your thing, 1,000 pictures. Okay, now pull out like 2 inches. Okay, so you have to like stay hard like that."
yeah,
And I I don't know. I'm also with ADHD. I get so bored during sex. To the point I would there was a about 2024 ish. I was starting to just like not enjoy sex. Like, mostly the come down after sex, like that emotional crash afterwards.
mm,
That like the post nut clarity aspect of it, and like
yeah,
the like having to clean everything up. I just wasn't enjoying it. That at the end wasn't worth the height of everything, and
yeah,
then also like the social currency of having to then like work with somebody, talk to somebody, and like have that discussion of like, what are we doing? And then like relying on their performance and their right. So I was just like primarily, self pleasuring, just masturbation or whatever.
mhm,
And then like, yeah, and just wasn't enjoying sex until one of my friends told me, like, you don't have to come every time. And I'm like, that changed something with me. I'm like, oh shit. I can just hook up and don't need to come. So I started bottoming more and would hook up with a guy and be like, hey, just like, I'm probably not gonna come today. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna make you come. I'm like, no, 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 no. Not gonna happen.
yeah. Oh, that's
Like
I resonate with that.
yeah. So actually, I've been, cards on the table, and I've been like working with my doctor because like I'm now struggling to get and stay hard. Like
Mhm,
I picked up some Trimex, and even like there was times at the content house I had a very high amount of Trimex in my system and just like couldn't stay hard enough. I then just switched to bottoming in the same just because it was easier. Like
Yeah, for the people
But
at home, Trimix is the injectable
yes.
erectile medication. I mention it a lot, and even in my circles, people are like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, right, because I hang out with gay porn stars. I I
Yeah.
understand this a little bit more." And I've had clients. I mean, to be fair, like in my work
Mhm.
when I was doing surrogate partner work, I worked with people, and I learned about that through that. I learned about
Yeah.
penis implants and all sorts
Yeah.
of that world.
And there's
So,
Trimix and there's also Bimix. So Trimix is a mix of 3 drugs, Bimix is a mix of 2 drugs.
oh,
Um, and I usually don't do well with needles, like, even, like, when I get
hmm
blood drawn for, like, for the STD test, and they only take, like, a small vial, like, high risk of me just passing out.
aw.
Um, so I how like, resorting to Trimix and having to, like, self-administer a needle to my dick has been a challenge, and thankfully, I've been able to get past, like, it's a very fine needle.
How soon does that work? I'm curious,
It's usually
usually.
immediate, like,
Oh, okay. I mean, could you
you
make it part of, like, foreplay and have a partner do it? Can we
you
make it
could,
sexy, like, putting
yeah.
condoms on a sexy way? Like, I don't know what that looks like,
Well,
but I'm just thinking, like, how do you make it sexy?
but also there's usually you get, like, a drop or 2 of blood just from the needle and
Uh-huh.
everything. That again, that's just another high risk aspect
Uh-huh.
of that foreplay.
Yeah.
I usually don't, because also I have to, like, kinda hype myself up for the needle, and then, like, after it's in, you pretty much have to, like the one person explained it to me, like, you have to jerk off and just, like, lock it in. And, you jerk off till you get hard, and then that's when you lock it in, and then you pretty much just, like, stay hard for a couple hours.
Interesting.
And then the other thing with and I noticed this with stripping too, because I used to take a lot of Viagra for stripping.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you're relying on, like, your calf and thigh muscle, or your thigh and quad muscles, like, as soon as you flex those muscles, you're diverting all of the blood from that area to the muscles, and that's immediately leaving your dick.
Yeah.
So
That's what
yeah.
I think Alex was just telling me a story, maybe it was from that house that y'all were in, about getting an erection, like, a tip for getting your erection to go down was to do, like, squats or something like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
he
Like,
said,
or
and
just flex
I'm like,
flex your quads,
I
flex your
I
thighs.
I don't have a penis, so I've never had
Yep.
to deal with that, but that's interesting. It's interesting.
But
Yeah.
I guess to answer, like, the question, like, the time I've been, like, most inconveniently turned on, say probably, like, either, like, on an airplane, like, planes, trains, or automobiles, like, that the vibration of that vehicle moving
Uh-huh.
is always like, that's usually just a good, like, "Oh, like, we're awake now," and it's like, "Oh, but I can't do anything with it here."
Yeah, I can't even I'm such do you know much about, like I don't know how much you know about, like, sex education. I'm thinking it's not even necessarily just a female situation, but do you know much about the dual response for sexual desire, dual response model? So
Sounds familiar,
um
but say
like
more.
spontaneous or arousal or spontaneous
Oh,
desire versus responsive desire. So I'm highly responsive. So I'm not horny Michelle walking around like
okay.
ever. I miss those days because it would be really easy and nice. So I can't even like tell you the last time I have to be really on purpose to get turned on.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the the things I have to do that I know are like in my menu of things that turn me on so that I can get aroused so that desire shows up. I don't
Yeah.
know of a time that I've been turned on in an inconvenient space.
And also, like, I've, like, clinical anxiety, and then with ADHD, it's like my brain is always kinda, like, humming at, like, that anxious level, and with
Mhm.
ADHD, I can't like, I'm bouncing around on everything else, so it's like, that's the one section of my brain that's always just kinda turned off of, like,
Mhm.
yeah, like, we're this level of anxious, we're not gonna focus on that right now, that's, a different part of the brain, and we're not focused on that, so it's that level of it, and usually I've kind of whether it's, like, Pavlov or just, like, an actual response, but usually if I take a hit of poppers at the beginning of a scene, that's enough to, like, quiet my brain enough for that part of my
Mhm.
brain to come forward and just kinda, like, lock in.
No, interesting. So that's
Um,
another thing. We don't talk
yeah.
about poppers in my world, right?
Mm,
I remember Alex did his podcast Kink Curious and I
uh-huh.
went to his launch party up in West Hollywood, and part of that was they did a little demo, and part of it include poppers, and I was like, "Whoa, I've never
Oh,
been in
yeah.
the room with
Yeah.
this before." Like, it's so not in my lexicon, and, it's just interesting. He's like, "We could try it, you could try it sometime, maybe." I'm a
Yeah.
person that tries everything once usually, and it's never been in my repertoire, so maybe
Yeah.
I'll try it one day.
I remember, like, the first time I tried poppers, I was bottoming for a guy, and he was trying to loosen me up, and I was like, it was a new partner, and I'm, like, new
Mhm.
and I was a bit intimidated because he was a big porn star, and he was kinda, like, retired out of it, but he was still doing OnlyFans type stuff, so I was like, the he was a cool guy, he was very attractive and also, like, had a big name attached, so, like, I was, like, all sorts of anxious, and he gave me a hit, and I just, like I remember just immediately going feral. I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's go, like,
Oh, that's
let's fucking
fun.
go." And that very much changed the game for me, so now, like, I I can have sex and I have had sex without poppers, but if I have the option to use poppers, then I'm going to, especially if I'm bottoming in a scene,
Yeah. Yeah.
'cause
I
it
mean,
kinda locks me into that headspace.
I have anal sex, I don't know, a couple times a year.
Mhm.
If I had to know that I needed to be relaxed in even like the y'all's clean out practices, like I've
Oh,
never worried
mhm.
about it. I tell Alex all the time, I'm like, I've never worried about it. I'm just like, I know my body. It's only been an issue once and I knew it was gonna be an issue and I warned my boyfriend, but he was so single focused
Yeah.
that I said, this is not gonna go well. And if it doesn't go well, we're never talking about this ever,
Yeah.
ever, ever. And he's like, okay. Like inconveniently horny. Um, and yeah, like there's just so much in my world that is just different, different.
And it's like again, like with like it's so I feel like it's so like ingrained in gay culture now that
Mhm.
like we don't know what it is, but like and I'll mention to my straight friends like, oh, I need to go get some poppers, or like, oh, like, like that pocket has that part of my bag has my rush in it, and like, what's that? I'm like, how do you not know?
It's a
Well, let
different
me change sex for you.
it is such a different
Yeah.
culture. It's a different language. It's just like when I got in the BDSM world, that was a whole different language to learn.
Hmm.
Um, this is why we need to have friends of multiple generations and
Hmm.
multiple orientations, of multiple genders, of multiple, like as much
Yeah,
variety as we can have so that we all just have a better sense of the rest of the world or we're missing out.
and just being able to like openly discuss it
Hmm.
with people, like actually going back to Colossal Con last year, I got there like I rolled into the hotel like 2 a.m. like the night before everything started,
Hmm.
and we were just I was sitting in like the one suite with my friends. We're because we all just driven, so like we're all like what kind of wired and like 2 a.m. like let's just all catch up because it's the first time seeing each other in a while.
Yeah.
And I took a picture. There was a bottle of Jameson, a thing of super glue, and a thing of poppers like right next to each other. Like just the way that things end up on the counter. I'm like, this
Uh-huh.
is such a funny picture. Like just like, and of course, my friends were like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm like, "These are poppers." And one of my straight friends, Russ, he's like, "I'll try it." I'm like, "Okay." Like weird atmosphere to just try it, not even a sexual nature. And he
Yeah.
took a hit, and it was funny to just like watch his eyes just glaze over, and then him get really flushed, and then come back down to earth. Is like that was interesting. Like, yeah, not do that during sex. It's great.
How long does it last?
Uh, I'd say at max maybe 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's usually a really like it's a rush. It's
Yeah.
a head rush.
Yeah.
And it takes probably about 10 to 15 seconds to really get,
Mhm.
go up the hill. And then it's a bit of a roller coaster ride, but I'd say 2 minutes, you're done, back down to earth and ready for the next hit. Like
So shorter than DMT. Sorry.
oh yeah.
My drug explorations did not start till I was 37. I think is the first time I smoked weed. Like that was oh baby Michelle. She was such a good girl. And I've not done DMT because I'm afraid of what that fast 10 minutes includes. But I'm certainly a fan of, mushrooms and Molly and
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't explored too much into the world of drugs. I mostly just stick with weed, especially, weed and poppers. Like, poppers are a vasodilator.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, vasodilator because yeah.
I think that's
Which makes
yeah.
it really difficult to have actually, it's really dangerous to have with Viagra
Oh,
because you can
sure.
yeah, you can give yourself a heart attack, your blood pressure
Yeah.
just drops so low. So, don't mix those 2 things.
Good to know,
Um,
kids at home.
yeah, but yeah, with, I mean, I've partnered it with weed, which is also dangerous. It's also risky there, but I've found, like, when I'm doing that, the effects seem to last longer. I mean, it
Mm,
could just be my brain just, like, not processing time in the same way, but that also just leads to, like, a much, like, deeper experience and, like, especially with the right partner, and it just kinda hits.
hmm, interesting.
But
Again, don't try this at home, people,
oh,
unless you're
it's
experienced, whatever. But love talking about it. Yeah, I have some
we're
people in my
professional.
I'm a professional. I have, I've had a few clients wanna do, like, Molly, MDMA with me,
Mhm.
and it hasn't happened yet. But who knows? I did a practice session with a friend where I was like, what would it be like if I held you while you did it? And I felt like I was on it with him. Like it was super what I love about MDMA or Molly or ecstasy or whatever you want to call it is like it's such a connector. Like it's so like oxytocin producing and I just felt like super bonded to him afterwards. And that makes me a little afraid to do it with clients.
Yeah.
Like we already have complicated relationships. And then to have that kind of bonding agent, kind of the super glue on the table,
Yeah.
um, super gluing us together, it's something to be kind of like be wary of. I say the same thing. Have you played in the kink world at all? BDSM? I always say like the thing people don't know is that they should be much more careful about who they play with because they
Yes.
can get very bonded to that
Hmm.
person. And it's especially if it's a long-term relationship situation, like you'll never not have some kind of clause in each other.
Yeah.
So hard to separate those. So play
Yeah,
with
I've
care.
I've only dabbled with drugs here or there, and it's always been like I've been at a party and somebody has had it and it's like, "You should try this," and, like but at that point, they're like I stick to alcohol and weed, those are my 2 main vices, just
Yeah.
and I know those and I know how I handle those, so I'm very hesitant to always, mix something new in unless it's, like, in
Yeah.
a specific environment,
Especially if you
uh
take any other medications too on top of
yeah,
it. Definitely.
um
Don't
And yeah,
don't.
once you start mixing anything with weed and alcohol, which is already a risky combination anyways, because they're both downers, yeah,
Mhm.
it just gets dangerous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we actually, my birthday last year, I was at, the Eagle in Fort Lauderdale,
Mhm.
and it I was there with friends, like, my friends live there, so I was staying with them, and it was my birthday, so I kinda gave myself permission to be extra messy. And I'm like, it's even if anything goes wrong, there's enough people here that know me and know that I'm allowed to get messy and like will take care of me if things go wrong. And they offered me a pressed pill, which admittedly I don't know what is in it. I want to say it has ecstasy and Molly in it, but also like
Probably.
microdosing, but also like I don't know.
You don't
Uh,
know. That's the
yeah, I don't
problem.
know.
You don't
And I was
know.
like, but again, usually if I don't know, I'm not going to do it. But it was my friend who I do trust with my life offering
Mhm.
me, and again, I knew even though it was in a new place, it was a place where like I had permission to be messy, and I knew there were
Mhm.
going to be people that would take care of me if things got bad.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but even then, like and maybe it's just because I have a big build and it wasn't a high enough dose. But looking back, I can't even like say like where the effects of that started and ended versus like
Mhm.
the weed and alcohol that was already in my system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I
but
think having a bigger body is helpful in that you get to
yes,
titrate the experience a little bit more than if you'd walked in and been in a petite
yeah.
little tiny frame.
Well, yeah, there's stuff that I would definitely want to try in a closed environment, but I just don't have access to it, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not actively seeking that out.
I'm like the person I like doing those things, but I like doing them either solo or with like
Mhm.
one other person. I'm not a party version of it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I did Molly was at a party, but I was really by myself. Like it was a very solo experience. And I think I go so internal that I'm
Mhm.
not very fun.
Yep.
Like I'm doing all this work in my head, meeting my inner child or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like I did a mushroom trip one time where I inner child was like a Fabergé egg that I could hold, and then my mushroom trip, I was deciding who gets to hold my egg for me and who
Mhm.
doesn't, and how I should protect my egg. It's mine to protect, and I can't just give it off to other.
Yeah.
It was very therapeutic, and now ever since,
You
and
get to
I've been
follow
on the
internal,
hunt.
and everybody else is just watching you, like, dissociate.
No, I literally now it's been a couple years and I'm still looking for the egg. Like it's Easter time and every
Mhm.
Easter I'm like, "Michelle, you should go to like one of these pottery places and just like design your own egg because they would
Yeah.
have them in their little things that you can paint." And then I was like, "What would I do?" I'd probably color it with all the things I liked when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And so I love the use of drugs for my own personal, learning about myself and journeys, but I'm not a party drug person,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's all good.
But
Well,
yeah.
Jake, we made it through 3 levels of that. I don't know if it was super I don't know if it was as spicy as people think these things are.
I feel like we could also I feel like there's so much more we could just yap about, but
What would you wanna talk about if you had your way?
so last year, me and one of my friends, we attempted a podcast, and it fizzled out.
They're hard.
I it did, and, like, we got to a point where we were kinda having creative differences, and we could
Oh.
understand, also just schedules stopped lining up, just,
Mhm.
um, but we were focused on, pretty people problems.
Say it
What I
again?
call yeah, it's, what I call pretty people problems.
Oh, pretty people. I thought you said
Yeah.
pre-people. I'm like,
Oh,
how
no.
far back we
Oh,
going?
so, pretty people problems and then also pretty people privilege,
Mhm.
and just, like, how people perceive you in terms of beauty standards, how that affects, like, what you're able to do and get away with, and just, like, your experience of life.
Mhm.
And that's, stripping and it's doing sex work, it's all pretty privilege. It's all
Mhm.
pretty privilege.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not vain enough to think that I'm as attractive as people tell me I am,
You're
and,
very
like,
attractive, Jake.
well, thank you. I disagree.
No, I
Um,
think you're more attractive when you talk about like the way
yeah,
that you talk about your tattoos and stuff. To me, that like I could say you're aesthetically pleasing, but attractive is like the package comes
mhm,
together. And I think you have an adorable personality.
but, I could go into just, like, everything about, like, just beauty standards and how, like, our individual perceptions of that just go into it, and,
Hmm.
like, there's 'cause, yeah, even, like, when I'm at the clubs, like, I should say often get the sense that, like, people think of me less as a person
Mm.
and more as an object, and, like,
Hmm.
then granted, that is the time and place to be an object. I'm okay objectifying me because objectifying myself because I can, like, at that point, I'm doing that for profit,
Hmm. You better pay me
but
when you're objectifying
yeah.
me. That would be my preference.
But then, like, when I put my jacket on and leave the club, as soon as I step outside, I'm still getting objectified, and I'm not
Mm.
consenting to it. Like, that's not a place where I can do that. I'd want to, like, be able to turn that off and just, kinda go inwards and just, like, hermit, but
Yeah.
you can't turn that off. And, like, there's and on more than one occasion, like, I've been at the club one night and, been all sorts of, like, touched, groped, harassed, whatever, and that's what my job is, so that's okay.
Hmm.
But then, like, the next morning I wake up and I'm, like, throwing on sweats and a hoodie to go to Walmart to get a, gallon of milk because I forgot that I was out. I've had people come up to me that morning in Walmart and just start hitting on me like, "Oh my god, you're so hot," or, like, they're staring at me. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at you." I'm like, "Don't." Like, my hood is up, like, sunglasses on, like, I don't wanna be looked at right now, and
Yeah.
there's not a way to, like, to turn that off.
Yeah. I mean,
And I
I think you could go into lesbian spaces.
it's
Like I go into gay spaces.
oh,
It's
my lesbian I have a couple, like, lesbian friends. They're some of my biggest supporters.
Mhm. I always
Um
ask Alex, like, are you okay if well, I don't always anymore. When I first became friends with Alex,
Mhm.
I was like, "Is it okay if I objectify you?" And he's like, "Yes, totally." And I was like, "Okay, great," because I wouldn't
Yeah,
wanna do that without, like, having someone's full, like not
yeah,
even just consent, but, like, I really don't want this to be a you're tolerating me doing
yeah.
this space.
But, like, I get messages saying whether it's through TikTok because I have a decent following there, or TikTok or Instagram, or even, like, this weekend at PAX, when I'm in cosplay, um, I've had guys come up to me and those, "Oh my god, you're so hot," and, like, they're just adding an absolute lust for words. I'm like, "Okay." And, like, it's gotten to the point, like, that's almost like a turn off for me.
Yeah.
Like, if all you can say is that I'm hot and that you're obsessed with me, then, like, that gives me nothing to work with, like.
No, there's no
Right.
conversation
Like,
at that
we don't
point.
even have that in common. I don't think I'm that attractive, so, like, what complete miss on this.
Well, and also they just don't know you.
Yeah, it's
Like,
yeah,
yeah, it goes back to, like, I think I'm gonna
it's
blow
a
this
pretty
out
problem.
a little bit. Well, I also think it's just a problem in general of
Mhm,
people, um, falling for or becoming obsessed with or what have you,
mhm.
with the idea of somebody. And
Also that, yeah,
so they created the story about you
mhm,
based on your attractiveness or what have you, and it's like, you don't actually know anything about me.
yeah,
I could be an absolute vile human being. Does it still not matter? Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's
and
the
there's
opposite
been
side of also
yeah,
having sex with people that you're not attracted to.
mhm,
There's like I'm also confused by that in some ways of like it's a long story. It goes
yeah,
back into my work with
uh,
a client where he was like, "Can we just like I just want to have sex so we can see if my dick works." And I'm like, "Are you even attracted to me?"
yeah,
"No." And I'm like, "Okay."
okay,
Now the thing you don't know about me yet, I don't think, because 'cause you'd have to go back a long ways to find it out if you did any kind of, like diving into any of my stuff. It's so far back. I started a thing of many years ago called Soft Cock Week, where I
Okay.
wanted to encourage the appreciation and celebration of the flaccid phallus because I got so tired of men being like, "What's wrong with my dick? It doesn't stay hard all the way through
Mhm.
sex." And I was like, "You all need some better sex education." Also, soft penises are super fun to play with. Like, if we could get outside of the penetrative sex is the only kind of real sex, you could have a really lovely, wonderful sex life and not have erections ever or all the time
Yeah.
or whatever. And so this all these weird things I've heard about penises. They created this week of
Yeah.
celebration that I used to do in November every year. Now it still lives. It's
Yeah.
the website now is like it doesn't have to be hard.org.
Okay.
And I have a co-parent. I don't take care of it anymore. I have a colleague that's taken it over for me. But it still lives in the world to tell everyone that it's okay to have a soft cock.
Yeah.
It's
But
okay.
there's been a couple of guys that I've been talking to, like, attractive guys too, that I'm, like, into, and every message I get from them is like, "Oh, you're so hot, you're so hot." I'm like, "Look, you're actively ruining this, like, you're ruining your shot with me, like, I'm into
Mhm.
you, I'm still talking to you, I'm still responding to you, but all you're giving me is, like, you think I'm hot." That's you're shooting yourself in the foot
If
there.
you were super,
Yeah.
like, ego driven and was like, "I need a regular dose of remind me
Right.
that I am attractive because I clearly can't know that for myself." I don't know, like,
Mhm.
that constant reassurance, I
Yeah.
suppose, but, like, it's
But
like if you get a message from someone, they're just like, "Hey," and you're like, "What am I supposed to work with
yeah.
this?" Same
And
kind of
yeah,
thing.
I called the one guy out on that. He's like, "Well, what am I supposed to talk to you about?" I'm like, "Literally anything else. Like, how was your day? Like, I'm still talking to you. I'm still interested. Like,
Yeah.
course correct here. Like,
You're
let's
like,
talk
"Let's
about
break out
anything
these
interesting."
we're not really strangers
Right.
cards." I I did use one on had a date the other night and we brought the honest dating expansion pack
Yeah.
with us. They were, I mean, I don't know if I'd do it on a first date. It felt a little like, again, like these cards are a little hard to answer when you don't know someone very well.
Mhm.
But one of them was like, it was something like, how am I in person compared to my online profile or what have you? I
Okay.
think that
Yeah.
would be an interesting,
Yeah.
like, I need to know more about you than like, A, have you even read my profile? But
Yeah.
B, what is interesting about you? I need to have my brain turned on as much as
Oh,
I need to
with
just
yeah.
like you aesthetically.
With dating profiles, I hate when people use my name in the first message, or when people
I
use my
heard
name in
somebody else
messages.
say that recently. Who was it?
It's
No,
I
was it
know
one of your
it
videos? It
was
was probably
one of
one
my
of your
TikToks.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
Like,
how did I
it's
just hear this? It was you.
yeah. Like, if their first message is like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Jake?" I'm like, "Nope, not gonna work out." Like,
Well,
and
from my
I don't know, like, it feels weird to say that, like, "Oh, don't use my name," but also, like,
yeah, but from my side of it, like I think about FetLife, for
mm,
example. How many times do I get a message that is so not specialized to me? If they
yeah,
even thought to put my name in it, I would be impressed. Like, that's the level
yeah.
of, like, yes, it does feel like it's a mail merge situation and they just dropped your name in, even though there's
Yeah.
nothing else that connects to your profile. But I'm like, when I heard you say that, I was like, "Oh, interesting." Because like, I would be thrilled to see anything that meant that they paid attention to
It's
something.
I mean, it might just be, like, the tone in which I read it, because I always, like, read, like, whenever people use my name, especially like that, I always read it as kind of aggressive. Like, "Hey,
Mm.
what's up, Jake?" I'm like, "Don't do that."
Okay, so if you're
You're
in a relationship,
Yeah. Let's say
I've
let's just say, like, if
noticed
I'm messaging my friends, or even, like, my ex-husband, like, I don't use their names, like, they
no,
know
but
who I'm messaging, that's yeah.
this is an experiment. You can
Yeah.
try this with your friends or lovers or whoever, and people listening at home can try this too. I found this with my husband and with other people that saying, like, Paul, I love you feels different than me just saying, I love you.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So, like, I think it's an interesting, maybe in under the right circumstances, it has a lot more, um,
Intimacy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah, it could also be that, it could just be, they're
too
by
intimate.
using my name, like, they're implying a level of intimacy that I'm not necessarily
S-
consenting to on the
Yeah.
first message.
It's just like using pet names. Like, oh my goodness, no. Somebody messaged my business partner and said something like, um, "Hello, pretty." something, whatever. And she comes back and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I think you might have the wrong person." Cause I told her, I'm like, my maiden name is Purdy. And so I go, why don't you just say like, I'm sorry, like, I think you might have got the wrong person. My business partner, her last name used to be Purdy. Like to
Yeah.
nobody likes pet names. Not when you don't have an actual relationship with the person.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's also been because I put that TikTok up, and it's been curious to see like people defending the use of first names in messages,
Yeah.
and the people that also agree with me of like, no, it's weird to establish that level of intimacy on the first message. Like that's
Mhm.
now like I can completely understand people wanting to use a first name. People like, oh, I want you to know that I at least read your name and I know how to spell your name and everything. That's cool. That's great. But also like you're not going to get a response if you just say, hey, what's up, Jake? Like that's like, hey, what's up? I might respond to that as soon as you put my name in there, like your chances drop.
Interesting.
That's
I
yeah.
think it's important for people to know that though, because if they are a
Oh
name
yeah.
user and they wanna hit your inbox,
And it could also
be
just be
more
like
vague.
I'm like, especially in this world, like I use like Jake is not my legal name.
Right.
And my at least my Tinder profile has my legal name on it. So like them using my legal name, like that's a level like that's a part of me that I don't necessarily like publicized. I
Mhm.
don't like that being out in public. So I don't like so again, like they're crossing that line without even knowing they're doing it.
Yeah. Do you run into people that are able to put you together? Like performer and personal? Like, I feel like Alex had something like this happen recently, but I
Um
might not be
I
thinking of the right
haven't had
person.
too many people on it's not on Tinder. But I have had people in
Yeah, I don't
both
think he
like
was on Tinder. I think he
yeah.
was on Scruff or something, but
No,
yeah.
and I've had people message me like on Grinder and other hookup apps being like, "Oh my gosh, I follow you on TikTok or I follow you,
Mhm.
here and there." And then like PAX this weekend, one of the drag queens that was performing in the drag show, she came up to me and was like, "Oh, are you JCap?" I'm like, "I am." And she's like, "Oh my god, I follow you on Twitch." Like I like and so it's I've had that happen even like when I was at the clubs, like especially like if I'm on stage, just dick in the breeze, people are like, "Oh, I follow you on TikTok." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
It's weird
That's
opening right now when you can see all of me, but that's okay.
It's such an interesting that how do I describe it? Like, started in all of this. The first thing I ever put out was a sex and relationship blog that was
Mhm.
kind of like a public diary of my exploration in kink and poly post-divorce.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this event every year. It just did its 10-year and closed the doors and they're not doing it anymore. Called Sex Geek Summer Camp, which was a summer
Okay.
camp for sex educators to learn like how to run their business, but also had fun parties in the evening, as you would expect.
Yeah.
And I remember getting there because I was like, I wanted to do sex ed, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I thought I'll meet all these people and I'll figure out what that route looks like. And I had this person there that was like, "Oh, I've been reading your blog." And so they knew everything about me and I knew
Mhm.
nothing about them. And it was just such an imbalanced
Yeah. It's
exposure.
so yeah.
Yeah. And
And then
so we had a cuddle party
yeah.
and I was like, "You and I are going to cuddle and I'm going to ask you a shit ton of questions about you just to kind of balance it out just a little
Mhm.
bit because like, yeah, you do know a heck of a lot about me and I don't know anything
Yeah. Yeah,
about
because
you."
I honestly, when I started TikTok, it very much just became, like, my personal diary and, like, my way for me to just, like, catalog all of my stories of just weird shit that happens at the strip club because you meet the weirdest characters there.
Mhm.
And I say weird affectionately,
Yeah.
mostly affectionately,
Not the
but
average person.
yeah, but, you people that, like, people that come up to me and like, "Oh my god, I watch all your TikToks," and, like, they know all of my stories, so I'm like, "Okay, like, you know me at this, like, a certain level of intimacy here, and, like, I know nothing about you, but also, like, you only know the part of me that I've curated specifically for to be
Mhm.
publicized."
Yeah.
Like, I don't post a lot about, like it's even, like, my dog that's laying here. I don't post a lot
Mm.
about, like, my ex-husband and our relationship, which was a whole thing that he was unhappy about. Like there's a lot of my personal life that I don't publicize because I just want to keep that to myself. Like I want that to, keep me grounded. I don't want
Yeah.
to, you know, manufacture, just me hanging out with my friends into something that's not.
Yeah. Do you find that do you find that maybe you haven't tried it, but sharing um more negative, I mean if there's negative feelings, I don't believe that things like anger and sadness are negative, but if you I have a hard time myself saying anything that's not super uplifting and whatever, because I get
Mhm.
this like flood of either unrequested problem solving, or this just like I don't even know how to describe it. It leaves me I just remember being left frustrated that I wish I hadn't said anything at all. I don't know if you've had any experience with that, where it's like I have to think about what is the downhill effect of me sharing this thing, because I don't feel like doing all this maybe emotional labor or
I
something.
I haven't had that specific um experience. Now, like with especially with the strip club, I did promise myself I was only going to talk about the positive experiences of it because I feel like there's such a stigma around
Yeah,
sex
you don't
work
want
and
to
strip
add
clubs and
to
everything.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
The only time that I did actually very specifically share a negative experience was there was drama with another dancer where like he was upset with the club and he was like openly bad mouthing and trashing the club. He dragged my name into it. Like he very specifically
Mm,
mentioned me by name in one of the posts, like just Google review type things. So I said, okay, cool. Like gloves are off now. I'm going to air out this laundry. You mentioned me by name. Like congratulations, welcome to the party.
yeah, you were
Um,
invited in.
right.
Yeah.
Um, but there's like in around this time last year, I realized that I was like capital D depressed. Like
Mm,
I
hmm.
described it as capital D depressed, as opposed to being like I'm a millennial and in the year 2025 and the world is shit. So yeah, I'm depressed.
Hmm.
Um, and that's something that I didn't want to share on TikTok because like it was mine to work through, and there was a lot of
Hmm.
things going on that I just didn't want publicized.
Hmm.
And it was also like I was still trying to figure out what that meant for me and how I could get through that.
Yeah.
And like I very much believe like the positivity of like I want to put out positivity because I want to receive positivity, and like I don't want to put out
Hmm.
negativity because then I feel like I'm opening myself to receive negativity.
Yeah.
And like
And at this
there's so much negativity out there. Like I can't contribute to that. Like
Yeah, and at the same time, that's why people need to remember that when they're looking at our socials,
mhm.
it
Oh, they're
is
like, yeah, it's
curated.
curated. It's so curated.
Yeah,
I
and
I
that's
only
an
put out what I want to
unrealistic
put out.
yeah, it's an unrealistic expectation
Mhm.
of what our lives are really like,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm not gonna go on there and, I don't know, pour
Yeah,
my heart out.
there's a certain ring of friends that like they were able to read between the lines and they knew what I wasn't posting. They knew like when I did post
Mhm.
something specific, they could read between those lines and they knew. And thankfully, those friends have come up to me within the last couple months and said, "Look, at your like I can tell you're in such a better place now, even though like what you're posting quantitatively hasn't really changed. Like,
Yeah.
I can just look at you and know you're doing better." And like to have like those people, I call them not people. Like they're people, but they're not people. Like it's and what I mean by not people is like they're not. Like, if I say like, I don't want to be around people right now,
There's the
they're not
exceptions.
people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
these
yeah.
are the people that are not people. I can be around these guys. Like they're
Yeah,
not energy to be around.
yeah.
I can sit on the couch and just sit on the couch with them and not say anything, and that's great.
What is your favorite friend date?
Well, my favorite friend day, like we're just hanging out, like we're doing
Mhm.
something.
What would your
Oh,
if you could wave your magic wand, what would you guys be doing?
so probably I'm gonna say going to get ramen, mostly because
Mm,
like the one of the friends that I see regularly in New York City, him and his girlfriend and I, like, usually we're just going to go get ramen. And
yeah.
that's our like, I usually see them before because I don't live in, like, in New York City proper, so, like,
Mhm,
when I'm in the city, I stay at his apartment, and
mhm.
it's usually just our we go get ramen, we debrief, and that's just us catching up on life, and that's like, I have such a positive relationship with ramen because of just this regular friend
Yeah.
date. Also, he's the one straight friend that I know has watched all of my professional porn that's been put out,
Aw,
and he gave me notes on it.
I love that.
I came home from the club the one night, and he was still up, playing video games on his computer, and he's like, "Oh, so like I decided to watch like all of your porn." I'm like, "I'm sorry, you what?" He's like, "Yeah, like I thought your oral skills were actually really impressive, and like the video you did with this video I thought was the best." I'm like, "That's the worst video I think, but that's okay."
Well, my hope is
He,
that he
uh,
learned some things.
oh, I love him. And
Yeah,
he's Eastern European, so like to him, nudity and sex is just so ingrained. Like
yeah,
he immigrated here when he was a kid, but that's such a like part of his culture now that like he can completely remove sex from sexuality.
yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, he was able to like watch all of my porn and cheer me on, and then have an open discussion about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that. I had a client the other day that he goes, "I watched the 2 shows that you suggested to me, and the
Mhm.
2 most recent shows that I've been, like, telling everybody they should watch." of course, is Heated Rivalry is one of them. But the other one is a really, really cute show called Six is Not a Crowd. It's also on
Hmm.
HBO.
Okay.
It's dubbed from like Spain or something, but it's about a polycule, and it does a really good job of educating around non-monogamy and in safer sex practices and
Yeah.
things like that. And it's weird because it's dubbed, but it's really adorable. And he comes back in, and he's a straight man, and he says, "Okay, I watched the 2 shows that you suggested." And I was like, "Oh, you did? That's awesome."
Yeah.
It's kinda like leaving little, gifts and people pick them up, you know? And he's like, "That Six is Not a Crowd, I thought it was really good. I thought it might have had more sex than it needed." And I was like, "Well, that's fascinating," right? I was like, "Don't hear that come out of many people's mouths." And I go, "Well, sex sells, and,
Yeah.
that's, part of the intrigue of watching." And then he goes, "And I watched Heated Rivalry, and I gotta say, I had to pause it at a point, and I thought, 'Why am I uncomfortable right now?'" And I said, "Have you ever watched gay porn?" He goes, "No." And I go, "That might be why then."
Oh my God.
Like, but bless your heart that you finished it and that you
Yeah.
came back and reported to me. And I think that's what I like is that, um, I think my clients figure out pretty quickly that they can tell me anything, and I am gonna be, like, super either really excited for them or, like, just cool as like,
Yeah.
no judgments, because God knows I've done everything that I can think
Yeah.
of. Um, you're not gonna get any judgment from me, and so for him just to be really open about watching it and being uncomfortable and whatnot, I thought it was really great.
So if I could share a show back, I would say Fleabag. If you haven't watched
I've
that,
heard of that.
um,
Where is
it's
that at?
it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Um, I started watching it because I like when it was nominated for a bunch of awards, it swept. And that award season, I was watching the show Marvelous Miss Maisel, and
Mhm.
then Fleabag swept. I was like, "What is the show? How is this funnier than a show about a comedian?"
Yeah.
And I watched Fleabag, and it's a quick watch. It's 2 seasons, like 12 episodes.
Okay.
You can binge it over the course, over in a night if you wanted to. Uh, but it's about her relationship with sex, both positive and negative.
I love
And
this.
it's her relationship with her family and her sister, and, like, there's a lot of relationships, but there is a current theme of sex through it.
That makes
Um
me a yes, 'cause
Yeah,
yeah.
um
Everything I watch is about
yeah,
relationships or sex.
even, like, the opening shot of it, she's, like, standing you can tell it's middle of the night, she's, like, standing at her front door, like, in a jacket, and she's like, "You know that experience, like, when, like, you accidentally made it out, like, you just got in, and, like, this really hot guy texts you at 2 AM, so you have to get out of bed and, like, jump in the shower and, like, get ready for sex?" Like, so she's, like, narrating her entire sexual experience as like, to the audience about this as
Yeah,
it's happening, and it's
I love that.
just, like, the sequence of events is so hysterical.
I imagine relatable. I
Yes.
mean, for anybody that has
And
a
there's a couple, like,
varied
really
sex
good
life.
yeah, there's a couple of really good scenes in it where it's, like, it's such a specific experience, but, like and even if it didn't apply to you, you can just watch the scenes, like, I know exactly what she's feeling, like, she's at a funeral and she's like, "I'm too pretty for this funeral, like, my hair is just falling this really chic way, and I don't know how to fix it."
I'm not
And, like
disheveled enough to
you're
be at a
right, and as
funeral.
she's walking down the reception, at the receiving line, people are like, "Oh, like, we're so happy you came. We're so sorry for your loss. You look really good today." Like,
You're
it's
not
just
supposed
such a
to show up at a funeral looking good.
right, but it's and the current theme, the underlying theme of the show is, like, her relationship with sex and how, like, she in the first season, she has a bad relationship with sex, and sex is, like, actively destroying things in her life, and then by season 2, she has, like, a good relationship with sex, and she's actually trying to, like, control her sex drive and, like, at least rein it in so she has, like, full control over it, and, like, the positives and negatives that come from her relationship with sex.
Mhm.
I'm a little surprised you haven't watched it because it's actually a
I
really good
know. I just don't
show
get
about
on
sex.
I don't get on Amazon Prime that often. It's not on my usual,
Mhm.
like, list of where I go to seek
Yeah,
out stuff, and so I'll go pull it up right when we get done with
but
this and put it
that's
on the top of the
I
thing.
would highly recommend Fleabag.
Yeah, and
And
I have clients that love any like, I work with a lot of people. One of my clients right now, really is, like, coming into understanding her own sexuality in her mid-60s. Right?
Mhm.
A lot of religious background. So a lot of these like rewriting of what the rules are kind of
Yeah,
thing. Every time I'm with her, like we end up like turning her on to a lot of different shows. And the
mhm,
last time she was here, we watched Kinsey, which I like that
okay.
movie with I can't think of his name, but I like I like that movie. We turned her on to the series Masters of Sex. So she learned more about the history of Masters and Johnson. At least the first couple seasons, I think, are really good for that. She also has watched Cheater Rivalry and Six is Not a Crowd. Gosh, what are some other ones? But I use them as like really great ways for her to like open her eyes up, and then she asked me a million questions.
Yeah.
Like the best question was when we were watching Six is Not a Crowd, and there was a throuple. So there was like I think 2 men and a woman, and she's like, they're standing there kind of in an embrace where you've got man, woman, man, and she goes, "Is there one in the front and one in the back?" And I'm like, "Maybe." And then it turned into a whole conversation of what is double penetration and all this different, like I have this inner gremlin
Yeah.
that loves like shocking people and like kind of, I don't want to say bringing them to the dark side,
Yeah.
but I like, I don't know, saying things that they have to ask me, what is that? And I've done this with, this client for now, I think we're at almost 3 years of work together. And I'm always like, oh, do you know, like back in the early days, I remember pegging came up and she's like, "What's that?" And I told her. And then I came home and told my husband about it. He's like, "Oh my God, wait till you tell her about analingus." And so then I made sure that I was like, "Do you know anything about eating ass?" And like, brain just, I get such a kick out of it. It's such a little sadistic thing that I have. My sadist likes making people emotionally uncomfortable, like especially around their kinks or whatever their turn-ons are. So like specifically the armpit thing, my husband thinks it's dirty and he shouldn't like it. And he has this like interesting relationship with shame.
When it's dirty and you don't like it and you shouldn't like it, but you do like it, I feel like that just makes it so much hotter.
Yeah, no, and I love it because then I'm like, I'm poking at, oh, is this like, you like this and you shouldn't like it. Oh no. Well, Jake, that was you might hit my longest episode marathon. I say this. I think that my podcast is like for people that are voyeurs who just want to like be in my life a little bit to meet some of my people. And I think you were not my people, but I feel like we know each other a lot better now.
Oh yeah.
And I look forward to next time that we cross paths in our porn world. Or whatever our worlds are.
When we were setting this up, we both said that we're open books.
Yeah, that's why we could talk so long. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to feel like I know you better, and that when we do see each other, it'll be a lovely hug.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'll be a big fan. Where can the folks at home find you?
I'm on most social platforms. Where can people find me? So Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, I'm at JCapWolf, JCAPWOLF. And then on also Instagram, Reddit, OnlyFans, Twitter, all the spacey things. All of my adult content is under my name, Jake Apton. No spaces, no anything else. It's just JAKEAPTON.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I'll put it in the notes and it'll make it a little easier for people to find you. But
I try to keep everything under those two names, since safe for work and not safe for work.
I want to do more stuff with more people in the sex industry, just because I just find the conversations to be more my flavor of sorts. So thanks for being the first one that wasn't an actual just like close friend of mine. So.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. Yeah. And I Alex, and Alex is good people, so it's...
No, I'm so glad I met him. He makes my life better, and so yay to the spider webs of all of our connections. I hope you have a wonderful...
I met Alex at one of the after parties for the AVNs, and him, myself, and a guy, Spencer, who's 6'7". I remember we were just sitting in the one bar talking because we're all tall, and one of my friends who's like 5'6" came up to us and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And all three of us were kind of jokingly like, "We don't speak short, go away."
But no, all your heads are just like peering up over the top.
It's like the tall people club only.
I can't wait for AVN next year. I'm so glad I got to go this year.
Such a good experience.
So you'll be back there if you're living in Vegas anyways.
Hopefully I'll be living in Vegas by that point.
Yeah. Well, if you end up filming for men.com and come to San Diego, let me know.
Yes. I hope to get back to men. I had such a good experience with men. I filmed 2 scenes with them, and I had the most fun with them. They
really?
Even behind the scenes, like So the one scene, because this is like the Traders spinoff that we did, or the Traders parody we did. Because I was in like the Rob Roche role, I had to work with snakes, at least like fake snakes, those rubber snakes. I hate snakes.
Me too.
So I really had to like to act through it. Like, even though they're fake snakes, I'm like, I don't like this. Like, but that's I had to for the role. And but the cast was super great to work with, and I had a blast with it. I hated filming the snakes. I had such a good time though.
I'm so glad.
I'm if I could plug, I'm now nominated for a Grabby for that scene.
Where do we find stuff about the Grabbies?
So it's voting is currently open for the Grabbies. It's vote.grabbyawards.com. I'm in 8 categories. This is my first time being nominated, and I'm in 8 categories, and I'm star shocked. Like, I'm like absolutely shell shocked by it. So
well, I'm gonna go look it up, and I'll give you some votes.
Yeah, there's a couple categories. Like, I get nominated for Best Daddy, and I'm like, I don't think I deserve the title of Best Daddy, but
Best Daddy, I need my own voting for my own positions in my life. Right. I have not had a daddy in a long time, and I would really love a new. I think I'm ready for another daddy in my life. I'm
nominated for Best Daddy, Best Verse, Content Creator, Performer of the Year, Best Newcomer, Best Actor, and Best Body. Oh, and Best Cock. I might have doubled up on one, but yeah.
Jake, I feel like.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Never being nominated. Like, even at the AVNs, I wasn't nominated for anything. I just was there.
I'm just intrigued by the fact that you're nominated for Best Cock, and now I gotta go to. I'm assuming if I go to Twitter, I'll find.
It gets the job done. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it gets the job done.
I'm just saying that's what I loved about being at AVN. Literally, Alex would just pull them up on X, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you've got that you're working with. This is, and then I come home and I'm like, Paul, let me introduce you to Chad's Twitter account. Like, well, awesome. Well, when you live in Vegas, Chad's in Vegas. Who knows if I ever see Chad again, but I'll forever crush on him a little bit, whether we ever try to hook up again or not. Awesome. He has my nerdy heart. Yeah. So all the nerds should get together, which sounds like most of you are. So whatever. I'll be cheerleading.
If you want to get on here and only discuss nerd shit, I'm down for that too. Because like I said, I run nerdy burlesque shows at the anime cons, and that's always a fun time. So
do you do any? Have you got into you yourself? Have you got into any pole work?
So the first couple clubs I worked at, actually just about every club I've worked at has had a pole. Because I'm really tall, I have a weird center of gravity. So pole dancing is not something I'm just built for. Actually, I do have a pole in my apartment, and like I can spin on it, I can hold myself up on it, but I can't do cool tricks. Like it's.
I feel like watching people on pole is like watching a fish tank. It just gets all of my attention. And I also have a thing for men in heels, and there's just I
have a couple of friends like that. They use a pole and they just look effortless. They're just like floating through air on it. And
I'm like trying to get Alex and my husband. I'm like, you all should take pole classes, even though you're both over, Paul's not 6 foot, he's 5'11", I think, but still I would love to see all the men.
Yeah, anytime I try to do anything interesting, I feel like I'm just like flailing around like a fish out of water.
Well, it's probably still hot to watch. Like, give people the benefit of you flailing. I don't know. Like, it's real, right? I think people love authentic.
And like usually when I'm go-go dancing, I have like my cowboy boots and my hat on, and I usually like no matter what song is on, I usually slip into like a line dance style dancing, and that's usually like unique enough that I can get away without having to use the pole.
That's true. I have never seen. Again, I don't do a bunch of strip stuff, but I have not seen line dancing in those spaces.
I have enough line dancing in my past that I can like usually pull a couple like steps here or there and like work it in and make it look good, even if it's not a full choreographed line dance to it.
Yeah, I did a bunch of line dancing in my like last year of high school, I think. I think that's when it was. And I did a lot of line dancing. I'm one of the only people dancing in boots and hats. So
that's true. Anyway, so it's they see a bit of line dancing and they're like, "Oh, what's up?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You got to be careful not to get confused. Remember that guy that used to be in Times Square? I don't know if he still is.
Oh yeah,
the naked cowboy or whatever. Mm-hmm. You could do a parody of him.
We could.
A better version, probably.
Sure he's straight, and he might be MAGA.
Oh, so you should definitely do
I feel like
we need a
with him, but
we need a remake then maybe.
yeah.
Can you be like the naked not mega cowboy?
Gladly, absolutely gladly.
I was just stuck at BWI in this 4-hour TSA line.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I was right behind 2 cops. I mean, they were off duty, but when ICE showed up, they're like, "Oh, good, ICE is here." And I go, "Well, weren't we just saying how calm everybody was and how like we're really impressed with how like nobody was having attitude or anything?" I just, to me, I feel like this is just going to stress out the crowd.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we're cops." And I go, "Yeah, well, my dad was a cop and he was an idiot."
Yeah.
And I go, "I guess we can agree probably that they at least gave you guys good PR and that they made you guys look better than cops have looked in a really long time." Mm-hmm. So anyways, it was a long 4 hours to watch my tongue. And so anytime I can have to go back to I need less mega.
Yeah.
In the world.
Wow.
So
you
can cosplay that at the next Colossal. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, Colossal Con.
Is it at Cedar Point or is it just close by?
No, it's at the Kalahari Resort.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
So,
cool. All right, Mr. Jake.
My absolute pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
We'll do a virtual coffee at some point.
Absolutely.
Maybe jump on with Alex and shoot the shit.
Yeah, and next time I'm in San Diego, I will definitely let you know.
Please do. Yeah, if you ever need I'm sure you don't need a place to stay, but I always welcome people to come crash at my place. I have this nice cuddle space, so I let people use my office.
And what's the chemical behind you?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin, okay.
Right. I'm gonna add serotonin and dopamine, but at first I was like, just this, and then I was like, but I have more space and I have more chemicals. So
I love that.
I'll keep building it out. Awesome. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for giving me so much time.
Take care.
Talk to you soon.
See you.
Bye. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to comment, pose a question, or learn more about the guests often featured on the show, visit us at intimacylabpodcast.com. Please also take a moment to review us on your favorite podcast app. It's one of the best ways to show your support. As for me, you can find out more about my work at meetmichellerenee.com, as well as on most social medias at meetmichellerenee. Let's connect again soon.